All right, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is a very bullish day. You brushed off any of the Canada drama that we had on Friday. It actually ended up turning to a positive, and now we are awaiting a week of non-farms data, America week in the day, and then you're going to hear random bullish whispers all throughout. So again, there's a couple of things still developing. You may hear about trade and some of the other conflicts, but for the most part, we are wrapping up June today. We'll see if we get any of that rebalance, and then it's just going to be all about the data, the short week, and I think after this week, we'll really start to go. But you are, again, starting off very strong. People are feeling a certain way, and we should have a good time. So, Chattadonia, I hope you guys are locked in, loaded, and prepared. But other than that, we got 2 minutes. I do have a couple of plays. I'm going to be watching HPE, Juniper, First Solar, Palantir, Sale, Bank of America, and Oracle. And if you weren't at the news video that we just had, we were talking about it. There was an update there with the bill, and that has been something I wouldn't shut up about. But if you noticed, all the solar plays, there was two like NEE and a few others that were down, but a lot of the other ones did very good. So there were some updates, and it seems like solar will be getting a couple less rescissions and a little bit more money. So we'll see, but we only got a minute. I need to go pee. I think I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna try to run it real quick. I think you guys could handle the bell. I think you could handle the bell without me. You'll be good. Oh, Jace Cash 20! Oh, good morning. Oh, stop it. Stop. Are you kidding me, Chad? Well, good morning. I'm gonna go run to the bathroom. You got some gifted members. They feeling good. Oh my goodness. Last day of June. It's not even July, bro. It felt like, I can't even believe it's 6 months in. Do you guys realize how disgusting that is? You have already done a year and a half, or a half a year. Do you understand that? I don't think y'all get it. A half of a year, bro. That's it. Now you just got second half. That's halftime, bro. No, it's in halftime. And now it's not halftime. Oh my god, they don't feel me, dog. I'm trying to explain it to them. Alright, perfect. I still made it, bro. Look at that. I got 20 seconds. Oh man, God bless you, Dr. James Cash. Let's go. God bless you, Chad. You better wake up. Oh yeah, why am I yelling? Because Janet Yellen destroyed the whole monetary system with terming out the debt improperly. That's why I'm yelling. What about you? Do you have a long term? Get a long term. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Fight. Alrighty. Okay, so Oracle is just playing the game of hinting that they got the TikTok deal. But yeah, that one was not up until recently. So again, in the pre-market, it wasn't moving like that. The Googles are starting to go crazy. You got some old Disneys, and then don't forget about Nike too on Friday. So Nike's either going to have round 2 continuation. Premiums already got clapped. Those went up 100 and then came down. So those were doing good on Friday. Not anymore. Starwood? What is that? Starwood, Blackstone are financing new New York residential tower. I haven't looked at oil and energy. Again, the dollar and wherever that ends up, that is going to be big. So watch out for that. Nibis, yes. Again, they did it on Friday. If it breaks through like 55, I think that'll be good. But if it doesn't, if it just stays there, then that'll suck. But yeah, it is moving a little bit. And then remember, it's a short week, you guys. So yeah, any short-term weekly contracts, they're going to play a little different. Yeah, Google, or Oracle rises 8.1. MP, Mobileye on the high. Yeah, Google, LMND. Myrna got a vaccine thing. They got some approval for like a seasonal thing. Pepsi on the high. Remember, we talked about staples. And then remember, second half, I don't know if it's going to play out yet. And the ideas we talked about on the watch list last night, it's not like immediate. But just keep in mind, second half and how that plays out, whether we get the flips or not, that will be big. Oh, Whirlpool. Bro, why didn't we go all in on Whirlpool, bro? I'm so mad. That one would have been another killer dividend. 25% off the bottom at 10%. Yeah, JP Morgan, that's one of those names that is at all-time highs. So, like we said, this is a very narrow rally. I still think you have many opportunities if you want good long-term shit, but at the end of the day, it's 20 names. There's a couple of bank stocks. Most of them you own, sadly or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Hey, yo, Habibi, where do they do this? GE on the high. Oh yeah, where's Boeing? Again, Oracle coming down. The plays kind of sucked. The Nibuses look decent, but that one just, I can't tell if it's going to run or not. And then, I don't know, CoreWeave, and then you had a couple of other buyout stuff. CoreWeave's up. Remember, they're going to buy Cores. So that one's still up. Tesla, again, they're not getting their credits. Oh yeah, First Solar. So yeah, all the solar ones. SPY's coming down. Again, we hit a new level, I'm pretty sure. So that's the craziest part about all this, you guys. You hit a new high this morning. I don't know if you're aware. Yeah, so look, you opened 61.95. 5 away from, literally 5 points away from 6,200. UMAC, Unusual Machines, up 8%. That could be interesting. Starbucks going up. Again, consumer plays. Even like some of the Nike from food consumer to like retail consumer, they are kind of catching a bid. Yeah, bro, you almost hit fucking 6,200. And then UNH going up, Procter & Gamble, Kellogg's, again, that's part of the consumer ones. UMAC, ADP, again, Boeing's still chilling. Where's fucking NVIDIA? See, bro, a lot of staples, bro. Yeah, XLP, it's only a quarter, but very interesting. Oh yeah, China, you gotta watch out for that one. China's, I think, gonna be really weird. China might stall for 3 months, or it may move right away at summer, but yeah, China, whether they end up stronger or weaker, is gonna be massive. So, because again, that a lot of people want the rally to fade, but then, yeah, you can't tell. Chips nuking. Capital One, more financials. Again, they got the benefit too off of the deal. Uber's climbing up. And remember, we rolled over the Uber covered calls. So if you have Uber in your long term and you have covered calls that were in the money, you could roll them over and get, you could free up like $20 a share. So that is the good part. Chips, Tesla, again, you got a couple of other random, again, momentum is part of the second half fades potentially as well too. What will it take for Airbnb to tank so you could buy it for the long term? Just nothing. I don't know, because like Airbnb will tank off of good earnings sometimes, and then sometimes it'll go bad off of, or go good off of the reverse. I think you just need either travel trends to go nutty, or they need to come in with something unique to get Wall Street on board. That's really it. I mean, but it has been a couple of years. I think they've already dumped enough money and some other things. I like Airbnb, but other than that, I would wait till the tide kind of turns in your favor. But fundamentally, they're perfect. You know, still a little overvalued, but it's been a while now as a publicly traded company. I think they've proved a couple of things, but they don't got that favor and momentum on Wall Street yet. So we'll find out. Solar was that the bill. So in the bill that passed Senate, the big beautiful bill, pretty much less rescinding of the solar shit, and then a couple more solar benefits. So solar stocks are all taking a run up here today. I didn't get to use the Airbnb services yet. No, you're right. I want to. I still need to. What are you guys going to do for 4th of July? You know what I want to do for 4th of July? I want to get a RV. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do, but other than that, maybe Airbnb services. Procter and Gamble on the high. Yeah, Enphase and NEE, I think they went down too. So some of the names that were expected to do good already, they went down, and then vice versa. FBI critical infrastructure should watch for Iranian hacking. Hot dog. Hey, yo, where's my... I was like, where's my cargo, doc? Do a RV IRL stream. I mean, hey, if I get one, I'm kind of down. Grandma, yeah. We usually just chill. That's what I was saying. I don't really have any crazy plan. What's this? BMNR, Bitmine Immersion Technologies. This has to be a Treasury play. Yours and Mosby's birthday. Well, happy birthday, baby, America! Woo! NNN. I'm painting all the doors in the house black. Oh, really? I gotta see it. Some look good, some don't. It all just depends. If you like it, though, that's it. As long as it doesn't look like weird, like faded, I like the look. It's hit or miss. I don't know if Besant was supposed to be live, but you have Jerome Powell tomorrow. And then again, Besant, he's probably going to talk stuff about the global minimum tax and all those things. BMNR, Tom Lee. Is that who's pumping it? Is BMNR? It looks like a Bitcoin play, like one of those Bitcoin Treasury ones. Iron ore is the actual color. Ooh, that might look better. Because, like, the black ones just look like faded sometimes. People will paint black doors, and then it'll just look dusty. Besant going on Bloomberg in the top of the hour. So give it, like, 20 more minutes. And then Google dropping. They were doing very good. Google's about to go red. Again, premiums are a little higher. Remember, NVIDIA, that was leading the way, bro. Leading the way. So many divvies getting paid out. Second quarter. I love it. Yeah, long-term's even doing great today. Again, we have a deposit coming up, and hopefully we still could get some good value once we turn it. How would I feel about NVO at this price? I don't know, but just don't put me in that position. So for some of you guys who've been here for a long time, I like you, and I don't want to get mad, and I don't get mad, but I don't want to, like, you know what's gonna happen, right? You want to, like, you see what I'm saying? So you guys will put me in a weird spot because you're gonna ask me about something in the middle ground. So it's a lose-lose, brother. But you should follow along with the rules that I have, and if you want to know when I'll buy something, I will buy it when I buy it. And that is the best I could give you, but that's your final warning. Thank you. Big man Scott. Is he? There he is.
Can be cut.
Hey, let me throw it on this one so you can see your friend.
Just as the Senate has begun voting on what's known as the big, beautiful bill, you look at the latest version of the tax bill, the big question that remains is the GOP holdouts. What kind of deal can be cut with those holdouts, and what are you and the president prepared to offer for support?
Well, I'm confident that the bill is going to progress as is over the next few hours, and it'll be on the president's desk to sign on July 4th. So the Senate will vote, pass it over to the House. We've seen incredible leadership, and this is what leadership looks like. So President Trump, the Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, and at the committee level, Senator Crapo and Chairman Jason Smith have been fantastic to work with. And again, it all goes back to leadership.
Now, when it comes to the fiscal hawks, has the administration made any assurances about executive orders or legislation down the road to address the national debt load?
Well, I think everyone believes that this is a start. So it's an 11% cut in non-discretionary spending, and we're going to go from there. So we didn't get here all at once. We've gotten here 20 or 40 years, and we are going to bend the curve, bring the debt levels down. I'm a fiscal hawk. I've had a lot of very good meetings with that group, and I think we're all on the same page on how to grow the economy while controlling and bringing down expenses.
Now, let's talk about some of the math there as well, because if the GOP is right and the bill does look to shrink the deficit, how will that affect Treasury issuance over the next 10 years? How does your math square with the CBO, with Wharton, with Yale, and even the Bloomberg consensus of GDP projectors here, economists, that still see growth under 2%?
Well, I think that's just wrong. And
hey, whatever ARTL is, IPPN, and then you had the AAL headline, but it didn't
forever. And maybe under Democratic governments, that's right. I think what we saw under President Trump's first term is that we will get a big boost in the economy from the tax bill. We're going to have certainty. We're going to go back to 100% expensing. So we are also deregulating at the same time. So we saw it in Trump 1.0. I think that we can see it here. So I think we can really accelerate the economy, because the CBO model shows 1.8% growth, whether we have the biggest tax cut in history or we get this across the line and give companies and consumers great certainty.
So the bill works if we make money.
You mentioned that the spending cuts were just a start.
If we don't make money, we're fucked.
Which will prevail when you think about the cuts specifically as it pertains to Medicaid? Will the House level of cuts to Medicaid prevail, or the Senate level? And which one will the president support?
We'll
He'll support the peach. That's what we gonna support, baby. Bradley Frizzle and the peach. Welcome to Monday. That's how you end the month.
Able-bodied people back to work, and the most needy will have greater benefits.
Well, the main question, too, is the benefits that are being cut. What do you tell the nearly 12 million people that are on the brink of losing access to Medicaid?
Wake them up.
Well, no, again, that's not right. 1.4 million are illegal aliens. Then a huge percent of that are the able-bodied working people.
Bro. The peach always
hits. Will need to go back to work. So we're going to have a work requirement, and we'll go from there. We're just going back to the levels pre-COVID.
So, given where the bill is, how does the latest bill impact the trajectory of the debt and deficit in your view?
Well, again, that I think as we accelerate,
but it is a little bit of data.
And increase
so Chicago PMIs came in weaker, 40.4 versus 42.9. Let me remind you that ISM manufacturing this week, that's going to be huge.
We're going to
watch out.
Oh,
Tanner! First time. Stop it.
To GDP. And
it's not Peach Nation, but it is Peach Nation, dog. You know what I'm saying, Tanner?
Does it give you, though, enough confidence to start turning
Oracle on the low now.
At
TTD and Kava taking off.
Maturities?
Well,
a couple of others, again, K and W as well.
At these rates. We are more than one standard deviation above the long term.
Okay.
We're more than one standard deviation above the long-term rate, so why would we do that? The time to have done that would have been in 2021, 22.
So a lot of people in the market point out to the success that has been in the bond market. You have seen the 10-year come down almost a half a percentage point since the January highs. Where would you like to see the 10-year, and where do you think it could end by the end of the year?
Look, I think it's going to depend on a lot of things, but I think
RTX on the high.
See,
interesting. Hilton as well. Again, you had some travel news.
Lowering
or at least Hilton
rates.
or Hyatt had
inflation is
again,
very,
data just came in a little weaker. That's not the big one, but bonds. I'm surprised the bonds reacted to it, and they did. But keep in mind, later this week we have one of those PMIs that's going to be actually
inflation
on the low. RTX breaking out
could parallel shift down, and I'll point out when everyone says, "Oh, the market." The bond market's worried about this or that in the U.S. U.S. is the only major bond market that has lower 10-year rates than any other country. Every other country, the rates are up.
While we're talking about interest rates and the Federal Reserve, it has been recently
look at
reported
this. I
that you
showed
might
this
be
on
in
the watch list.
consideration
Did you
for the
guys
job as the
know
next
global
Fed chair.
central banks are
When you've been asked
cutting
about
at
the
a pace that
likelihood
you've never
recently,
seen
you
before?
said that it's up to
So
the
the
president.
last time they were cutting this much by June was
I will do
2020.
what the president
And
wants,
this is
but
without the
I
United
think
States
I have
cutting
the
once.
best job in D.C. We're making a lot of progress with the president's
bond just
leadership.
flipped. That was a kind of an overreaction anyways.
We are going to have the tax bill on his desk by July 4th. We're going to be wrapping up the trade talks. So I think we've had great momentum, and we will be working on Chair Powell's successor over the coming weeks and months.
You had mentioned that an announcement could be as early as October or November, and Powell's term ends in May of 2026. How is the street supposed to navigate between that announcement time and the time between the term being over for Chair Powell? You were the one, I want to remind people, that had brought up the idea of a shadow Fed chair prior to the election. Is a new appointee supposed to be considered that shadow Fed chair?
Well, not necessarily. We'll see. There's a seat opening up, a 14-year seat opening up in January. So we've given thought to the idea that perhaps that person would go on to become the chair when
banks are still running. Now you got MSTR, Carvana. MSTR really running.
We could appoint the new chair.
But then more banks, more Bitcoin too. HUT, I'm seeing smaller cap Bitcoin names as well. And then you got oil pop.
Ultimately, do you think that there could be some confusion?
Well, I don't see why there would be confusion because, obviously there are people who are currently at the Fed who are under consideration. So why would there be confusion if that you add another candidate in January?
So what about Fed policy as it stands today? The president has voiced his preference for lower interest rates. There have been investors, but also most recently the Bank of International Settlements warning about any inflation risks tied to the tariff
Like I said, oil's taking a stick right now. I don't know why.
How much can the Fed lower rates this year? And what is the level and rate of unemployment that would suggest a faster pace of rate cuts? Economically, what has to slow?
In a weird way, because again, remember when Biden put in Lael Brainerd and put her on the Fed and then moved her to government? I wouldn't be surprised if Besson did it, but he's a great treasurer.
A gigantic mistake in
you could argue that the treasurer is more important than the Fed to a certain
medical
degree.
Studies have shown that people who fall tend to look at their feet, which makes them fall more. And my worry here is that having fallen down on the American people in 2022, Fed's now looking at their feet. We have seen no inflation from tariffs.
Get you guys to check up here in 10 minutes. Again, you had a little reaction to the data, but that wasn't your big data
price
set.
Adjustment. Nothing is more transitory than that. So, Team Transitory, having failed the American people in 22, they seem a little frozen at at the wheel here.
Part of this uncertainty does relate back to the trade deals. You've set a deadline for July 9th with key trading partners, or at least the administration in total has. How many of the key 18 most important partners that you have been speaking about have deals that will be agreed to by that time?
We'll see. I'm not going to negotiate on TV and let people off the hook. But as always, there's going to be a flurry going into the final week as the pressure increases.
What can you tell us about what's coming out of those deals? Are they inked deals or are they negotiations for future deals?
Well, what I can tell you is that
more
the
financials
staff
are just
level,
killing
whether
it.
it's at Treasury, at USTR, at Commerce, people who've been around for 20 years are in amazement, and they're saying these countries are coming with offers that they can't believe. So in terms of bringing down tariffs, non-tariff trade barriers, we're leaving aside
Verizon
currency,
and AT&T, and now you got Uber.
the financing
I know the brand. I love the brand of Conagra,
labor,
to be honest with you, but they have underperformed
in an advantageous
I think
way.
most people do. This one could be a good one.
Back.
I'd have to look into it and why it's doing bad,
trade
but
negotiations
like I'm
could
saying,
be
10
wrapped
years
up by
wise,
Labor
I'm
Day.
very familiar with the Conagra
How should
brand.
investors and
Most
nations
people are.
impacted be thinking about that July 9th deadline? And could that be pushed back to avoid going back to those April 2nd tariff rates?
Well, that's going to be up to President Trump. And I'm not going to tell any country. We have countries that are negotiating in good
there's
faith,
Uber,
but they
then
should
all
be
these
aware
financials,
that
bro.
if we
Anything
can't get
bank,
across the line
financial,
because
Bitcoin
they're
related
being
is killing it right
recalcitrant,
now.
then
Look
we
at
could
Visa,
spring
MasterCard,
back
Citi,
to
Capital
the
One, you
April
name it.
2nd levels. I hope that
Especially
won't have
credit
to
cards.
happen.
Yeah, Whirlpool's now
one
green.
other part of the tariff
So
strategy
again, we went red
that
on
a lot of
Whirlpool for a
investors have
little
been
bit, but
asking
now you're
about
back into
is
the green after
related
last
to the
week.
housing affordability crisis. There's still Section 232 tariffs being seen as it pertains to lumber and timber. Those are key materials for housing construction. Are you in support of them ultimately, given where we are in the housing affordability crisis today?
Well, I think it's important to break down. So what we're negotiating now are the reciprocal tariffs. 232s take longer to implement. So we'll see what happens with those.
Also on the housing market. What kind of
moving,
timeline? Well, first of all, is Fannie and Freddie going to be privatized? And what type of timeline would you look to do that on?
Freddie and
while
Fannie.
also ensuring that mortgage rates won't skyrocket on the heels of such a plan?
Well, let's work backwards on your question. Is anything we do?
I like Estee Lauder. I mean, they're going to be part of the China play coming into the second half.
Over treasuries, and
I just don't like how it's
that
moved up, though.
Move.
So again, we've talked about Estee Lauder at very, very low prices. So I like it, but I wouldn't pay 100% higher than 2 months ago. That's your only problem.
Peace deals going well. Tax deal.
That's why patience,
on July 4th.
That's why I kind of look forward. We're going to turn the long term into a property, and then
we
got the value names to hunt for, and maybe some of those names in that time will come down. But
another thing
Estee Lauder
cheap
enough, I take it.
Through Congress
100% from its
legislation as it
low.
pertains to cryptocurrency, but right now stablecoin. Will this
Still
bill
help
in terms of making stablecoins
like
a bigger force in the payments market, in the Treasury market? Will they be a larger force of what absorbs?
So I like the industry. I think Ulta's the best, but
what you're referring to is the
it's
Genius
up to
Act.
you,
The
brother.
Senate's passed it. It's now with the House. President Trump, myself,
50, bro.
much of the Senate leadership and many in the House are encouraging them to pass the Senate bill as is. I think we could have that also done by mid-July. And I think stablecoins create an exciting new payment rail. And importantly, it will be a source of demand for the U.S. Treasury market. Because if you think about it, in terms of preference globally, would you rather have a private stablecoin that's backed by U.S. Treasuries with U.S. best practices regulation, or would you rather have an ECB or a PBOC central bank digital currency?
Look at Robin and then Hood.
If you write
and then AMD Intel on the low though,
the
so chips are already kind of getting worked all day.
I think everyone is going to choose the U.S. private sector with U.S. regulation all day, every day.
Secretary Bessent, we appreciate you joining us here in our New York studio. That is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent.
Thank you.
All right, our thanks to Sonali Basak and, of course, to U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. You take a look at what the stock market was doing.
All right, well, bonds didn't do anything. You did have that data there. I mean, he did his little Bessent pump, but nothing new, really. Nothing new. And welcome. So, again, you had a couple of names. Like I was saying, the breakdown, I'll get you guys a checkup, but it's been a weird mix. It does seem like you had some of the big tech that gapped up. They sold off, and then everything that wasn't big tech kind of came back up, and now they're meeting up. You're still holding the gap up. No crazy commodity dollar moves yet. I wouldn't call it boring. Apple to delay feature rollouts in EU, citing regulatory hurdles. Oh, that one came across the wire a little bit ago. So something about Apple delays. I think this week we're going to, again, we have non-farms on Thursday, which will be good. But the only other problem is that it's a holiday. So it's a short week. You end the month, start a new one, and then you get in. Then I think after this week, it'll be there. Trump comments, isn't it owned by a hostile nation? What is this? Many other, hold on, I need to read the whole thing. Many others also, the media is fake news, but Forbes doesn't even try to get things right. So yeah, Trump Truth Social. Oh, Ben Wood, had my first birthday with the 2-month-old. Oh, God is good, baby. Amen. Whoa, is that real? Check AM. I don't know if that candle on AMD, I think it was fake. Bond's coming up. Mr. Ben Wood's birthday. Happy birthday. A couple China names moving, and then you just got a Trump Truth Social. And I think he is talking shit about Forbes. Yeah, it was 5 minutes ago, actually. So it really matters, but a terribly untalented writer, failing magazine, Dan Alexander, probably can't get a meaningful job in the business, has written so inaccurately about me that it's ridiculous. Many others, the media is mostly fake news. Yeah. Sound popping. I don't know what the hell happened to Sweet Greens. Sweet Greens went up and then down, bro. It went back up to 14, then dropped, and then it ripped again. I still wanted that 9. I have option plays on it, but other than that, I would love Sweet Greens at $9. Till then, I just wait. So we're about, dude, that's it. After tomorrow, this will be the most amount of cash we've ever had. So yeah, we're about to get one more deposit, and then our cash balance. Well, we've had more cash at another point, but we're about to go up to like what? I don't even know. I think 5% cash. Yeah, we'll have 4.85 cash. It's amazing. But then we're going to use it for a crib. APP on the high. Pizza. They haven't really moved. Still holding that 50 though. And then you haven't heard any update from that one. Remember the little offer thing? We haven't heard since that one day, but it held the price. ARTL, that was like some biotech that was up earlier and running. Bonds are about to break. XYZ on the high. I keep seeing TTD. That feels like a slow melt. Everything is green. Dow Jones is actually leading the way at 0.4. Give you the checkup here in a minute. So get ready for that. But not bad. One might say you have a cash cow. I want to trade the cash for a cow. That's kind of the idea. Duolingo, again, a lot of these like smaller or like mid-cap tech plays are kind of moving. Kava on the high, AI, oh, Mr. Greenleaf, my man. What up, baby? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, Google was up there. That's why I look at SPY compared to equal weight. You'll kind of see it. It was interesting. But then they've chilled out here. So either big tech's going to run up and everything dumps, or they're going to start matching up, moving in tandem. Robinhood still going again. TTD, a few other names. They've just been melting from the morning and just still going. Kava is one of those. That one's up 7. Tesla didn't get much. That Apple headline didn't even move Apple. Again, Apple's red too. I don't know where Meta is. There's SoFi. Meta is, yeah, SoFi's going crazy. Now you got IonQ. Still, that one's still up 8%. So remember, let's see if momentum, but so far some people were thinking momentum was going to die, but still here for June. Fully in effect. There's Sound. You guys just called that one out. That one's up 5 now. And then the banks keep going, and then SoFi. A lot of names you guys have been bullish on this morning. If they've already been like really bullish, it's still continuing. So yeah, there's like probably 4 or 5 that you guys have called out that keep moving. Now you got a little bit of Netflix and Meta. So you have Google and Apple pretty much, and Nvidia. That's what's keeping the SPY there. I did see Reddit. Pepsi dump? No. He was doing so good, Habibi. Bebzi, how they do this? Oh, Bebzi. Let me see if there's news. That one's kind of aggressive. Coca-Cola's falling like that. Kind of all the staples. Shouldn't longer-term loans have lower interest? No. Because think about it. If I was like, let me borrow money for a day or let me borrow money for a year, which one's more risky? Money for a year, because it would take you longer to find out if I'm gonna pay you or not. You know, if I borrow for a day or two, you'll find out real quick if I have the money. But a year, 2 years, 3 years, the longer you're gonna part with the money, the more risk. Yeah, Sweet Greens is killing it. Again, Sweet Greens literally 48 hours ago was red. Or it was like deep. It was like back down to like the 10s or something. Or was it a 12? Yeah, the other day it was literally at like $11.99. So it was 4 days ago. And then Reddit still climbing. And then SoFi, Hood, and then there was one more that you guys were calling out. And they're just like melting. Like they're just straight, just like we saw on Friday and last week with some of the melt up stuff. It's doing the exact same thing. SYM, I saw EW earlier, and now EW came down. So see, it looks like staples in healthcare. Remember, that's the industry we're trying to figure out for the next quarter here. But yeah, they're not. They kind of just gave up. And then Reddit is climbing. Yeah, that's in the bottom right. Citi, MasterCard, Visa, banks, Goldman, they're on fire. Top climate official at Federal Reserve, Kevin Storeau, leaves the central bank. Inside buy on PVH reported this morning. And then Chipotle on the high. Yeah, they're up 5. It's getting pumped right now. And then Chipotle, Starbucks was even up. I haven't even looked at Nike. Everything's just good. I don't know. You guys remember last week and we said we know it's going to happen. You know it's going to kind of be this melt-up mode till bad news. But you had the bad Canada stuff. But then over the weekend now, everything's kind of just been written off, so you're back to that. But there's a lot of names that are up 4 or 5% today. Yeah, small caps are killing it. So let me get you guys your checkup here now. Let's see. Oh, no way. So yeah, it's not, there's actually, we could go anyway now. So Dow Jones, bro, 15 green, 15 red. Dow Jones is half and half, even though it's the leader. NASDAQ 60 green, 40 in the red. So barely green on the NASDAQ, barely leading. And then SPY, 279 green, 220 in the red. Ta-da. So yeah, today is 50-50. Pretty much it could go either way. But right now, the names that are doing good, they have more they're doing better than the names going down. So you have just as many names green as you do red practically, but the ones that are green are doing a lot better. But that also leaves room now where all those reds go green, you're going to still keep melting. All that green goes red, it'll probably come back to where we were at the other day. And then you'll play that game asking if we're dumping or not. S&P candidates, now that deal has gone through. Are they saying buyout or added to the S&P? Because remember, there's a lot of those flukes on the who's getting added. That was a couple months ago. Nugget and gold. Boeing, Flushing. And then TEM on the high. What's Stakeholder Foods? Boeing's killing though. Fucking 211. VRT. Boyle's on the low. So watch natural gas again. Oil started moving. There was a headline on Kazakhstan. Yeah, oil starting to pop and then bloom. What was the other one? Was it BE? Blooming Energy? Remember these little solar plays? They killed it today. I don't think any news on Joby, but again, small caps are good. Decent China plays are doing good as well, but Baba's surprisingly down. I saw like Futu and a few others. That's right in the green. About Intel, I like Intel. I think it's right around where I bought it the last time, but Intel, I don't think it'll take till 2026. I think. You're about investing in a property of 150 on your long term, but you don't have proof of income. Would that be a problem if trying to purchase a home? It will be. So you have two options. You either start finding a way to get documented income now, and that'll take you about a year. They'll need a year and a half, 2 years. Or like I've been telling people, there's different types of loans you could get, and you're just going to need 20% down. So you're 150,000, the max you'll just have to put down 20% for any property you want. So you could send an email, I could refer you, but other than that, I would either work on getting qualified income, or you're gonna have to do 20% down. The bill, I think it did pass the Senate with some changes, but then I think there's still a couple of holdouts, so people are expecting a couple of different changes to arrive. Yeah, Bostic says it will take time before full clarity arrives. Storage units are better than anything. Storage units just usually have a high premium. So if you could get your hands on a cheap storage unit, I think that's the holy grail of real estate. If you get a storage unit in a big city or a good area, then yeah. But usually they come at a higher price. Macy's running. Yeah, Macy's up 2.6. Again, a couple of others, even Communication and what was it? EQT? Those energy solar plays again. ANET on the high. And SPY just at VWAP. Like we said, again, it's 50-50. You could go either way. I know, right? I mean, it was a good gap up. Yo, BMNR. Didn't we see this earlier? Was that Tom Lee that you guys said? Is that his Bitcoin play? But yeah, that one's going again. That relaxed for a little bit. It's already up 200. Seems to be one of these Treasury plays. Yeah, Bitmine stock triples as it raises $250 million for Ethereum Treasury. Adds Thomas Lee to board. So yeah, that's what it was. Bitcoin drop, MOS on the high. Those are, again, related fertilizer and all that. Thanks for the whirlpool. I know, bro. I'm glad I talked about it, though. And I gave you guys one of my theories, but that one was a banger. And then hopefully you didn't buy it at the beginning of the year when we said not to as well, too. Because remember, that thing was up like 50%. It was crazy. But I'm excited. I think I look forward, God willing, we get a farm. And then now the long term, I still see so many good names, though. Because like Whirlpool is just barely going up there from, depending on how you position. But like I'm saying, there's going to be some good quality stuff that it's still low. So yeah, I look forward to it. And then SPY, man, I know this, and again, this Monday was pretty big. You had that drama on Friday. You remember we went down, and then you had that end of the day run up. But to gap up and do that is very, very big and good. Does the farm have its own water supply? It does. It has multiple wells. I don't know how to use a well, though. I've never used one in my life, so we'll have to figure that out. Microsoft getting a candle, bonds, and the SPY, kind of everything. QSR? Hey, yo, what's up with that? QSR, I don't know if that's going to be, isn't QSR like IHOP and everybody? Interesting. Rises Friday, outperforms market. Unusual volume the other day. Oh yeah, there was somebody sold 1.5 million share blocks the other day. ARK on the high, and then now the SPY, first time above VWAP since the morning, and then Shopify. The well and the well pumps expected? No, I'm doing that all today. We have the big inspection is today or tomorrow, so we'll find out. We will find out. Yeah, Meta, and then the SPY, BMNR. A little bit of NVO, and then QSR. I like it. I like the restaurants, but then QSR, they had a big sale the other day, just of a sale of a stakeholder selling. Fed Bostic tariff impacts will play out over time. DataCal, Datadog, and then Okta. Those are both similar. So yeah, now you got some software plays moving up. There's this SPY, couple of others, CCI, and Jake from State Farm. So let's go. Oh, man. Good morning. Robinhood is going live. Oh, don't even get me started. It's so bad. I think Robinhood, it's like they don't see it. It's like kind of like that's like the paradox of it. I think that's like the poetic irony of it all. But because they're like, to catch a token, and I'm like, bitch, to catch a predator. You the predator, Robinhood. Is to catch a predator. Y'all marketing to catch a token? Really? Y'all don't see the irony? Oh, so yeah, I think it's hilarious. But other than that, good luck and be safe. Thank you. Get a long term. Get a long term. Yes, Bostic still never got in trouble. Into it. Popper. Yeah, Whirlpool is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. All right, Chattadonia. Risk tariff related will affect expectations. Fire extinguished at largest Canada refinery. All right. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at The Trading Fraternity. Real Coat News on Twitter. And I will be right back.
Are not correlated with, but everyone I'm talking to is just looking for non-AI trades to balance the portfolio because everyone's just loaded in the AI trade.
Adam, as always, a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks
nice
so much.
to see everyone. All right, happy 4th.
Yeah.
All right, to you.
Thanks, Adam. All right, we've got some news and some fresh comments from Treasury Secretary Bessent. Megan Casella has those details for us. Megan.
Guys, good morning. Bessent was just speaking to Bloomberg TV and made a few headlines, made a few bit of news on a couple of different topics. The first is on Fed Chair Powell, and he talked about sort of the timeline moving forward for a Fed nomination. He was asked about news he had made on CNBC on Friday that nomination could come in October or November, even though Powell's seat doesn't expire. His term doesn't expire until May. Bessent saying today that there is a seat opening in January. That's Adriana Kugler's seat for a 14-year term. And so he says the administration is considering nominating someone to that 14-year seat who would go on to become the Fed chair. He was asked if there would then be confusion if that person gets nominated and takes their seat in January just to become the chair in May when Powell steps down. He says there should not be any confusion because obviously there are people who are currently at the Fed who are under consideration. So confirming at least some of the people who might go on to become the Fed chair are already at the Fed. He also, of course, had some criticism for the Fed, as we've heard from the administration, saying they made a gigantic mistake in 2022. He sees no inflation from tariffs and says, quote, they seem to be a little frozen at the wheel here. The other topic that he did hit on is trade and that July 9th deadline. He said there will be a flurry of trade deals going into the final week as the pressure increases. And when he was asked whether that would be a deadline where we saw tariffs increase, he says that's going to be up to the president. We do have countries that are negotiating in good faith, but they should be aware, he says, this is a quote, if we can't get across the finish line because they are being recalcitrant, then we could spring back to the April 2nd levels. He says he hopes that doesn't have to happen, but we could see some tariffs increase next week, maybe not all of them. Guys.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Megan Casella. Here's our roadmap for the rest of the hour. After the break, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, speaking of the Fed, the latest on the big, beautiful bill, how much it really costs, and of course, all this talk of the next Fed chair.
Plus, Apollo's Torsten Slok will join us and lay out his expectations for the economy and the Fed in the second half of this year.
And F1's speedy start, the Apple film topping the box office this weekend. We'll talk to the IMAX CEO, Richard Gelfond, about the debut of that movie. A big show still ahead. Squawk on the Street, back after this.
Yo, who is that? I've never heard that voice before, ever. Interesting. Oh, they're playing Scott Besson again. All right, man. Well, I thought we were going to get above VWAP, and we did, but you're hanging out, man. Welcome to summer. So, again, you do got big data this week with non-farms, but it is going to be closed on Friday. So, we'll see. And then CL, Colgate. I haven't seen Clorox. But, yeah, staples are back to green. Very small, though. Only a quarter to a third. Dow was up by 0.4, 0.5, but then that came back down. Yeah, Apple and Google. But then Meta, didn't Meta just hit a 52-week high? Yeah, literally a couple seconds ago. Then you have Fed Bostic comments. Trump will sign executive order on Monday related to easing sanctions on Syria. Reporter on X. Okay, Okta round 2. I don't know if it's news or if this is just the melt up. Because again, a couple of names, once they've hit here, and like they're hitting several highs, they're not like running like news, but once it gets in that melt up mode, it just goes. But I do think Mag 7 is kind of holding back the index. Okay, bonds coming down. Dollar down by 0.1. Fed has time. Fed Bostic. I don't. Weird guy. And again, NTR and MOS, these like fertilizer plays keep going up. I said Trump will sign executive order related to easing sanctions on Syria. CBS reporter on X. SMCI now above 50. Oh, what was the other one? Nibis, I think. We want that thing needs to just get above 55. ALMU, okay, bonds near the low. It's only a quarter. I haven't looked at equal weight yet, and like we said, it's about 50-50. So you could go either way. Equal weight's climbing, so good. All those names, like I'm saying, you're watching like individual names. I keep seeing new highs, one new name out of the next, but then the SPY's not moving, but equal weight is slowly climbing. And then the irony is that they're still matched up, so that none of it's actually moving outside of the range. MPAA, small cap, liquid starting to move. Yeah, literally 2 candles there. Make rib on the high. Again, biotechs have been, there's been a lot of FDA activity, I do think, because you're about to enter second half. So yeah, I think either this next couple of weeks, you might start getting a couple of things from the FDA. Even last week, we had some stuff from the FDA. Hassett on CNBC. So you guys know this guy might even be, he's been
Black people in the room.
This guy's been placed on the short list of Fed
I've got
chairs.
a bunch of people on my staff that are career Senate people, and we did a little poll today of when we think that the final vote will happen, and everybody was between 11 o'clock and midnight tonight. We think that it'll pass the Senate.
Okay, we'll see if your folks are right. TBO says that the Senate bill increases the deficit by $3.3 trillion from 2025 to 2034, and that is $1 trillion more than the House bill. There were already concerns about the deficit in this bill. Do you disagree with those numbers?
Oh, I 100% disagree with those numbers. You remember that in the House bill, there were a bunch of things that were temporary that were there for the first 4 or 5 years, but then looked like they raised money in the out years. But of course, a big tax hike in the 5th year is going to cause a recession and reduce growth and increase the deficit. The number that I think is the best number
you're getting
to think
a
about
bigger
when you're looking
red.
at that
Tesla
3.3
just
trillion
at the
is
bottom.
that if we get 3% growth instead of 1.8% growth out of this bill, then that adds $4 trillion to revenue, which means that
even
this
got
is a big
Mexico
deficit
and airlines
reducer.
on the
This
low.
is the biggest spending cut in history, the biggest tax cut in history, and with a little bit of growth, it's going to be incredibly positive for the budget. And finally, don't forget, this isn't the only bite of the apple.
That
we've got lots of
hold on, you guys might get
discretionary spending that we're
so
planning
watch
to
right
send
now,
up
you have
to the
airlines
Senate to
and a couple of big reds
Russ
at the low,
the
not too
OMB
big.
director suggests that maybe that's going to amount to about 160 billion this year. If you get the 160 billion of rescissions, then multiply that by 10 to think about what the deficit impact is. And so this is a very fiscally responsible bill.
So it does rely, though, on the economy moving up to 3% growth. Why are you confident that this bill does that when, I mean, it is mostly an extension
Fed Bostic
of
penciled
the
in
taxes.
3 cuts. I don't think that's
Well, there are a heck of a lot of, first of all,
I think
you
you're
have
going to get something out of
what's
Canada or
the baseline,
Mexico.
right? So if we have the biggest tax hike in history, and we go back to not expensing capital machinery and so on, then what is that growth effect? That's a really big negative. And then there's all this new stuff that's very, very growth positive. So, for example, no tax on overtime. We've got about 90 million American workers that are hourly workers. When they don't have to pay tax on their overtime, then they're likely to work harder. That increases supply, puts more money in their pockets. The Council of Economic Advisors has modeled all these things and says that income for the typical American family is going to go up by $10,000. So that's real income. So this is a very, very growth positive income positive bill.
After Jana wins 6 board seats,
Director Hassett, a lot of concern on the part of not just independent power producers and or solar and wind, but all the electricity companies that are going to be relied on to power the AI surge going on in this country. You know, we're seeing demands for electricity that we've not seen in quite some time. And yet the Senate bill not only rolls back the tax incentives in solar and wind, but it also adds what I would call a tax, essentially. Does the administration support that, given that it may shut off a very important component of our industry, our electricity infrastructure?
To be sure, we're 100% behind the work of Doug Burgum and Chris Wright and the National Energy Dominance Council.
Google,
we're
bigger tech
using all of the above approaches to get energy production to go through the roof in order to, as you say, support AI and other things in the country. And that means using coal, using natural gas, using oil, using nuclear, and to the extent that it passes a market test, then these other solar and wind type things can be part of the picture too. But the problem is that the grid. But the grid needs to be reliable, right? And the grid hasn't been super reliable. And in other countries, you can see that grid problems have been really severe in Spain, in Germany. And so Doug Burgum and Chris Wright and the president have come up with a plan that's going to take care of getting energy prices down. And it's going to do it within all of the above.
And then by doing a couple China names,
solar and wind, I know the sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow. That said, you can have backup, but I mean, the Chinese have built more solar than existed in the entire world in a year, I believe. It's not unimportant, and the industry is saying, you're not just taking away our tax breaks, okay, but you're actually penalizing us. Why are you doing that?
No, I don't think that's the way to think about it. In the end, what's going on, right, is that solar is going to be in people's grids. It's going to pay the same price as other forms of energy, and so there's not a penalty.
Elon Musk says it's utterly insane and destructive. It gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. Is there an administration response to that?
We're prioritizing grid security, #1, and if solar, meets the market test, then of course we'll support it 100%. But if we've got a problem where there's lots of solar in the middle of the day, driving energy prices down in the middle of the day, and making it hard for the people that can keep the energy on all day to operate in the evenings, then that's a grid security problem, and that's why we've got 2 of our best people, Doug Burton and Chris Wright, working on the problem.
Director, there's been tons of comments from the president in recent days and weeks towards the Fed chair and the level of interest rates. What has been your personal advice to him on those comments and the extent to which it might undermine people's
eyes on
long-term
Cigna.
views
that one looks weird
towards the dollar?
compared to all the other healthcare ones, and then tap on the high. Again, you got a couple of names, BMNR, that's the top lead.
But the thing that I can say is that the president has strong views that the Fed has room to lower interest rates. He has strong views that interest rates in the U.S. are about the highest in the developed world, and that's a policy error. I think having discussion about policy error is something that the president's allowed to do, and you can respect the independence of the Fed, but also have a different perspective about what they should be doing. And I think that that's basically where we've been in the White House.
If he asked you one day in the future, not immediately, would you rather that job to the one you've got currently?
No, I'm not going to talk about that. No comment on that.
14% on Polymarket.
Tap again.
Kevin. That's where you are. That's where you are right now.
18, isn't it?
Do you want to be Fed chair?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that.
Can I quickly ask about trade negotiations? Obviously, the president's hardline comments towards Canada has worked in the short term, it seems, with the digital services tax being scrapped in Canada. Meanwhile, back home for me in the UK, it remains. Does that suggest that a conciliatory approach, trade negotiations that Keir Starmer took is better
I've never
than what
heard
Mark
this
Carney pursued, or is the expectation from the administration that the UK will have to quietly fold its digital service tax in the weeks and months ahead?
Right. You know, my expectation is that the digital services taxes around the world will be taken off, and that will be a key part of the trade negotiations, ongoing trade negotiations that we have. But we had a big victory in the Big Beautiful Bill where the G7 countries have agreed not to have this so-called Pillar 2 tax, which is a global minimum tax, where they were going to be taxing our companies just because they thought that the taxes in the U.S. were too low. And so we've made a lot of progress on taxes. I'm very pleased to see that Canada's removing its DST, which means that we didn't have to put in this really complicated retaliation in the tax code. But you could expect that countries that have digital sales taxes in the future are going to be facing the wrath of Jameson Greer with his 301 assault on these unfair trade practices.
What's going to happen on July 9th? Are we going to see tariff rates go up?
I think that we've got a whole number of deals, double-digit deals, that we've got frameworks just like we have for the UK that are just about agreed to. As soon as the tax bill is passed, I think that there's going to be a marathon session at the Oval where we'll go through them one by one with the president, and we'll make the final calls, set the tariff rates, and show the world all the work that Howard Lutnick, Jameson Greer, and Scott Bessent have been doing.
Are you nervous? I mean, Wilfred and I were talking about the dollar because we both care deeply about it. But are you? It's headed for a really weak first half of the year, the worst we've seen, I think, in 40 years to start out a year. Is that a concern?
The Treasury Secretary is the spokesperson about the dollar for our administration. Sorry.
But you're an economist. I mean, do you worry about loss of faith here?
Yeah, no, come on. We've got a strict rule that the Treasury Secretary communicates about the dollar.
All right, fair. Well, we tried. Thank you, Kevin Hassett. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
From the White House.
Remember talking to Bob Rubin about the dollar. He wouldn't talk about it either when he was Treasury Secretary.
Well, they have a line, you know, a strong dollar's in the best interest of the United States. Wink, wink.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That's always what it's been. All right, after the break, Apollo's chief economist Torsten Slot will join us with his outlook for the second half of this year, including when he thinks the Fed could cut rates. Plus, more on the fallout for solar and wind companies. We were just discussing that with Kevin Hassett after those big changes in that big, beautiful bill.
The big, beautiful bill. All right, nothing moved out of there. I put out a couple of stream alerts. Again, there was some movers, Cigna and Tap, but like I'm saying, on the upside, be very careful. None of these are triggering like a 3% momentum move. And then there is a couple of names, like even on the downside, just pay attention if they get individual news. But holding the melt up, Mag 7 impact, you could definitely feel it today, but there's still a lot of other names moving, and it is about 50-50. So we are moving there, and what time is it? 7:30. We've actually been here for an hour on the dot. You're holding your gap up, 13 million in volume at the highest prices of all of mankind, and it's led by only 22 stocks, but not bad. Is Tesla robo-taxi stuff? Okay, Tap's still going. Again, we saw a few others, and then China plays in the last hour. Like I said, they've been trying to wake up here. But that SPY, I mean, it's kind of been the highest you've been in the last 30 minutes. Kroger, XLP, chilling. If you could get Google or Apple to come up, then that's it. Then it'll start running. Other than there, we might just play this game. Welcome to summer. But then too, be on the lookout. There might even be a bad headline. Like we said, it's going to be melt up mode till you get a bad headline. So just remember how quick the Canadian stuff came in. HD on the low and now oil. So again, I do think oil coming down will be a little bit more bullish. So yeah, oil's taking a stick now to the downside. You did have OPEC stuff. And then look at Canada. I don't like that. That's the only weird part. Canadian currency is up by 0.5% right now, or weakening. Or strengthening. So yeah, even the euro and a couple of others started moving, but like we were saying, on that first drop, we were trying to figure, unexpected error. But yeah, I started seeing that one move there on that like little drop, but that was it, but it's still holding. So oil, Canadian currency, that you're getting movements, everything else still chilling. Dallas Fed -12, forecast was -10. Serve. Actually, give me 2 seconds real quick. Hold on.
Especially between the high-end markets and the lower-end markets at this point. We see a difference depending upon that level of consumer. Fortunately, most of our consumers are going to be in that higher income, $100,000, $120,000 family income, kind of at the minimum level with that. And we've seen continued strong opportunities as we've gone through the busy part of the season, people wanting to upgrade the backyard of their home. And we've also heard from our contractors where their backlogs are staying fairly consistent between 6 to 8 weeks.
So you have, I mean, part of the tagline for Trex Decking is made in the USA, right? How much do you manufacture here? How much more than your competitors? Does that give you an edge in the new tariff world?
All of our decking is manufactured here in the USA. The majority of our railing is also manufactured here in the US. We do import a couple of our railing programs from offshore. Those will be impacted by tariffs. Less than 5% of our cost of goods sold are impacted by tariffs. Given the size of some of these tariffs, it will have an impact. We'll be able to offset that through negotiations, pricing, and resourcing to other areas that have lower tariff impacts.
Some of the tariffs that are
like
harder
Mr.
to
Mackey?
parse through.
A tariff and the tariff impact. All right, man. Fucking, they canceled the. So it's gonna be tomorrow for the inspection. Everybody's so slow. I had to take a call. But welcome back, BMNR. That is Bitcoin or Ethereum Treasury play with Tom Lee. So yeah, that started at 14. Now it's already at 20. It's only been an hour. The market is kind of choppy, but the dynamic is pretty much equal weight, is advancing to the same degree, and then you got a couple of you have like half of the Mag 7 up, half of the Mag 7 down, and then we are waiting and then riding the good news from the bad news of Friday related to Canada. And then we do have a little bit more data. The data so far wasn't too crazy, but then you're gonna get ISM manufacturing this week, and then non-farms, and then Friday is closed. So remember, Friday, the market is not open for 4th of July. If you guys want extra day, take off Thursday. And there you have it. But yeah, so the market does. That means every weekly contract, only 4 days. And then after that, you are, yeah. Oh, is Thursday a half day too? Oh, no way. Thursday is when the data comes out. So yeah, I might leave on Thursday. I might do the jobs data, and then after the jobs data, that's it. I'm gonna just sleep or go somewhere. Or maybe we get the RV and we stream from the RV. I'm kind of down for that, guys. You have no idea. I've always wanted an RV, and this might be it, bro. This might be it. Do it. I don't have a Starlink. You got an RV? I've never driven an RV though. Do you think I could? I might just get like A Class C one, though, a small one. But I want, like, a bus. I don't know where... Can you park them at, like, the beach, though? Like, if I wanted to, like, just pull up and, like, park it on the water, I could do that, right? I've seen people do it. All right, you're kind of coming down. I just saw Apple move, which was interesting, but now you went from the highest point in the last 35 minutes to now you're looking at the low end. That's what rental insurance is for. White House will restart negotiations with Canada immediately. Hassett on Fox. So he's going to Fox now? And then again, all the MOS NTR plays are going. Let me see. I like Hassett. Just sleep at the beach and take the parking ticket. Kind of down, bro. I've never been. I want to try it though. So if I don't find any other things, or if we don't do anything, because we might go and do it. We just have a big family. It's hard to organize for the 4th, and then half of them like the traffic, the other half don't. But that's why I'm like, you know, worst comes to worst, I'm kind of down with the RV, bro. DB on the high, and then APP, Google on the low again. So again, Google gapped up heavy and then sold off. Same with Amazon and then everything else. You've never seen the beach? Whoa, are you serious? No. Well, Farmer Jim, when you make it to the compound one day, you will be about like an hour or two from the beach. So there, I don't know, man. It might be happening soon. Am I gonna stream from the compound? No, I don't really plan on going there that much. So I'm gonna be there in the beginning to like set everything up. But then once I start putting the address out, then I'm not gonna show up. It's for you guys. I don't want it. Yeah, I want my animal. You guys got to take care of an animal for me, my Wagyu cow. But other than that, I'm not. Yeah, this is you guys will see. I don't know if you've ever seen a community house. I don't know what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody was like, "Well, what the fuck is the point of a compound? What are you guys gonna do at a compound?" And I was like, "You know what? Listen, buddy, I agree with you. I don't know. It's a stock trading thing, and we just like each other. We're just some homies. Like I don't know what to tell you." But yeah, bro, that's all. I was like, I don't know, man. So, you know, when I really think about it, like, what aren't we gonna do? Hey, man. We will be prepared for anything. We do. That's where I'm like, I'm kind of excited because I just want to learn the basic stuff. So I'll learn how to grow some food. We'll have it'll be off grid. And then worst case, it'll be there. And then here's the other benefit, though, that I'm really thinking about for some of you, is that I hope that if any of you guys ever needed to come out to California, you will have a very cheap place. But it's not going to be for everybody. But like I'm saying, if you're really culty and, you know, you treat things like it's other people's stuff like it's yours, I hope that it will be there for you. Because like I'm saying, man, if you ever come out to Cali and all that, we will have a massive amount of space, you know, and we could do some good stuff with it. So that's what I want to see, though. I want to see good. I hope, you know, I don't know, man. God is good, bro, and praise God. Y'all been hearing it. But like I'm saying, I hope to see seeds scattered and planted. You know what I'm saying? And I want good into the world. And you know, I'm not parading this around like we're giving good to everybody, because we're not. But I do think a select amount of people, and, you know, whoever it really vibes with, I really hope it creates something good for them and I want it to open up doors. That's the idea. Otherwise I wouldn't waste my time and money with any of this. I want doors to be open, and I want people to have resources and things. And then again, it's still going to require your own work and effort, but you know, I want to help however we can. Okay, bro. BMNR, did that thing get halted and then unhalted? My goodness. All right, SPY still going down. You still have Bostic, and then Hassett says, we'll see how it goes. Threatens Japan, EU if digital taxes remain. He's pretty much the same reiteration. He sounded nicer on CNBC. The Hassett comments from Fox sound mad aggressive. Starlink, oh yeah. I need it. We're gonna need, because I looked so far, the internet's shitty. There's like, we could get like normal like internet, but the highest is like 20-30 megabytes upload, and then I think Starlink is the same. We could survive with 30 upload, but I'm used to like, I have over a gigabyte now, so I would like some good shit. Long-term island. Well, listen, I think at one point I'd be down for a dating show, but that'll be like years down the line. Let's see that we could handle the compound, and then make sure we'll have to go through the first round of weirdos, and then once we get that, then maybe we'll have long-term island. Other than that, I don't, patience pays. It's gonna be a very slow process, Chad. Took us 5 years to get here, so I don't know what you're expecting. Build a data center. I want to get server shit and all that, but then the guy I was talking to this weekend, he kind of gave me a reality check, because we are very ambitious, and we want to do a lot, but like, you're gonna run out of land, dude. So we have a lot of it, and it's like very exciting, but I was just telling this guy my ideas, and he was just like, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do, bro? He's like, you're gonna have to pick like 2 or 3 things, and then that's it. Because then again, everything takes space. Okay, SPY coming up there, A-Lab on the high, and a few others, just whatever. It's like the ball is slowly rolling down the hill, but you are pretty much pinned. We are in escrow right now, and please let me remind you that, and this is why, because usually I probably wouldn't be talking about it right now, and I wouldn't want to share this much info, but I need you guys to realize that we are doing the long-term plan right now. So if you are not aware, I am in escrow on a property, and this is what I'm trying to teach you guys, because like I've told you, you don't sell until there's no turning back. So escrow is when you would sell. But look, I haven't sold yet. I'm going to use the long-term market, or the long-term money for the property. So, but here's the problem. I could still back out. I still have an inspection clause or a contingency. So if we could still back out, it's not a done deal yet. But this is what I'm saying, is that keep in mind, we've offered, we've searched for the property, we've talked about the loans, got the general qualifications, put in the offer, got the offer accepted, put down a deposit, and I still haven't even sold the long term yet. This is what I'm trying to teach you guys, because like we're saying, you don't want to have too big of a gap where your money's not working. I don't want you to sell and then be in this weird holding period, and then if anything goes wrong, then you just took the tax liability, took the sell, and then you have nothing to show for it, and it's not moving. So that's why once the inspection goes through, once we've realized we're not backing out, it'll cost money to back out now, then the long term will begin to get sold. And ta-da! So yeah, don't forget that, because I'm talking about this shit, and some of you may care about it, you may not. That's cool. Maybe, some of you don't have that, you don't care about what we're gonna do with the house. That's fine. But what I am telling you is be aware of the lesson right now, and the main lesson is how to sell for the property. Again, it's going to be emotional. I'm already getting emotional. I'm already, I'm like, oh, I want to hold it. And that's one part of it. And you got to think about that. But the other part is like making sure you are strategically selling at the right time. A lot of people will sell too early and just sell too early. Most people don't sell too late. So I just want you to see it and just understand we are in escrow now, haven't sold yet. So if we back out, if something goes wrong, if it needs too many repairs, good, we get our money back and then we never had to sell. But then if we are going forward with it, then that thing is gone. Yeah, we still have the small account is not being touched. Actually, what I am gonna do you guys want me to tell you, or do you want me to surprise you? Pretty little long time. Do. Do you want me to surprise you? I have more. I always have surprises. I got the surprises I could tell you. I got the surprises I can't tell you. So, because I love this idea of real estate, bro. I love it. I love it so much. And I think it's so, I want you guys to see what's possible. And that's where it starts, you guys. Do you realize how deadly it is? This is why motherfuckers don't like me. Because once it gets in your head that it's possible, then the veil is lifted, bro. You become a new person. I hope you all realize that. You know that, right? The man, even from last weekend, there were some of you got reborn in a good way because you said, you know what? It is possible. I am going to get a house. I don't care what your situation is, because once you're the guy who's like, you know what? I don't care if it takes 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6. It doesn't. I'm getting it. It's a game changer. So I do hope you all are motivated and inspired, okay? You better get that, but we are not going to touch the small account. So this account is going to stay. The big account, I'm going to use it for the down payment. But this one, you're not going to see that. We're not selling this. But then I got another idea where I was going to go and buy another house. But I'm not going to sell it. I'll just go out of pocket and I'll show you what it would look like. So because this other compound, it's a compound, and then it has it's really expensive and we're using a bigger amount. But I want to go kind of do a model of a house of a FHA 20 grand, 30 grand down loan, what it would look like. And I want to get one already rented out or something like that and show you guys what it would look like. But I won't sell the long term. I would just go out of pocket. I'll use $30,000 from my own money and show you what it would look like and what that deal would be structured like. So then you would see a big house and you would see a small house, big account and small account. But then the small account we'll never touch it, and we'll keep it all growing. And you get to zoom out. Yeah, it's about 5 years, I think. Half down. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. Thank you again, bro. Let's go. I'm proud of you, man. That's beautiful. And to many, many more, and those of you doing that, just good work. And thank you. I love to see it, and I think your future self is going to thank you as well. I know we should have grabbed the BM&R. I'm kind of over the Treasury plays, but I think the Tom Lee hype helped that one. Pretty little long time. I saw that sound and it got stuck in my head, but then I just kept remixing it with pretty little long time. I'm on Redfin now. This is weird, bro. See, even fucking Tim, bro. You know how many times I would have this conversation with Tim and Tim would give me some answer that was about not buying a house, and now even Tim is like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm buying a house. And now Tim is like, I'm fucking shopping. I love it. Tim is a good indicator too, because Tim started the long term in 2023, beginning of 2023. Tim lagged a little bit, and then he ran it up, bro. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good time. I think some of you may have been a little bit more timid, but I don't give a fuck how long it took. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if you were timid, as long as you're not timid now. Then we're fucking the Timdicator. So I love it, bro. That's it. And look, that's at the end of the day. Like I'm telling you guys, you're already watching it. This is what I want you to see from the process. I have shopped, I have offered, I have looked at the properties, done all of this. accepted offer even in escrow and nothing has happened. We could still back out. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like what are you gonna, there's so many steps and it takes such a long time. That's why it's just like, why don't you should be looking. You're not gonna rush, you're not gonna force it, you're not gonna get in a bad deal, but it's just like, dude, if you start now, it's a long process, and I chip away and always have an eye towards it, just monitor it. Kind of, I don't know, it's like a MMORPG. It's like building up your character in a game, you got you need a weekly commitment, maybe a day, just go through, level up real quick, go through, check your area, make sure you look at all the listings, get a little method to check and double check some off markets, and that's it, but no rush. But as long as you're seeking and looking, then I think it's going to come to you. Pretty little long term. I love the long term. I know BMR's cooking, but you didn't have to flex, so please don't flex, you guys. So that one, I didn't want to ban you until I saw it. But yeah, I've probably banned 5 to 10 people today, and I haven't said shit. Kept a smile on my face, and I didn't waste time explaining it to you guys, because then you would think I'm mad about it. I'm not. I just want you to follow the rules. So yeah. Just the rules are the rules. The good news, everybody gets unbanned tomorrow. Yeah, I know. So yeah, tomorrow everybody will get unbanned. Google might keep some of you banned, so we'll have to figure that out. And then some, if you already had to get unbanned before, I may not be unbanning you. But I honestly don't really want to worry about it. So in my mind, I'm just thinking I'm going to unban everybody, even the people I don't want to unban, and then I'm sure you guys will probably violate the rules again. So I'll just, I'll be easy about it, and then we'll be good. No, not including the Twitch. Like I said, Twitch, maybe end of the year, we'll talk about bringing it back online or not. So, and then if we need it as a backup, maybe, but at that point, I'll just take a vacation. So yeah. On buying an apartment, not bad. I mean, you're talking like a condo, right? Not like an apartment building, but condos are good as long as you get it in a good area. Like, the thing is, they're harder to cash flow, and then you have a higher, you have to pay the fees. But at the end of the day, if you have a good condo in a good location, it's still worth it. What did the Twitch do? This is why, do you see, when we have these conversations, I don't want to have these discussions. The fact that you guys need me to explain shit, that's the problem. That is 1,000% the problem. So we don't have time for that. We don't have time to keep going back. I'm not time to keep everybody on board. So easier to focus on one. Pretty little long term. If I buy by the water, yeah, water's good. I mean, you're gonna have to pay for insurance, but if you're in like Florida, but yeah, view adds a lot of value. Depending on, like, in California, any view of if you have a good view property, that adds like 200 grand to the lot, depending on the view. So like, even in LA, if you had a view of like the Hollywood sign, the house next door with no view, the one with the view goes for 250,000 more. Again, you have like an ocean view, it's usually like 300 to $500,000 premium. Just depends on, and that's California at least. So it just depends where, but yeah, there is a lot. Alex Jones saying chemical warfare starts on July 4th. Uh-oh. Well, be careful. A lot of people, Anonymous has been starting a timer. There's like a random Arab dude who's going viral on TikTok because he's counting down days. People are like tripping out, but yeah. So either way, walk with the Lord and you'll be safe. But then the Lord does promise persecution as well. So, but either way, God is good. A listing in the foothills, 80 acres? Oh man. I don't know too many people in Colorado, but you could send it over. I could send it around. But yeah, man. And then you might need to come out to the compound. If we're going to have 20 acres that we're going to be working on. Are tsunamis common in California? I've never seen one in my life. Yeah, Core Weave, $4 pop. Eyes. Oh, I saw that. The fire and then taking out. Dude, that was so weird. Dude, that was dark. Dude, that was crazy. Yeah, weren't we just talking about Colorado? But dude, that was in Idaho. But that was terrible. Terrible. Yeah, I've lived through many fires in California. I've never seen a tsunami in my life. Yeah, that one was weird, bro. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, man, I don't know. Walk with God. I have no other. I do not walk away. I do not walk this world with fear, my brothers. You have no idea. Even if I'm aware of stuff, even if I know it. I mean, I was telling you guys about security threats well in advance. But yeah, walk with the Lord, man. You're an American and you are a child of God, and I pray that bad things don't happen, but they still might. But at the end of the day, you don't walk around in fear. I hope you live right and you don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, there is ever since I told you about it, the risk was already heightened. So I just don't think that's changed. So be smart, don't be a fool, but at the end of the day too, I wouldn't change my whole life to live in fear and be, because that's the point. That's terror. They want you to strike fear in their hearts. No, thank you. I love how we're chilling, though. It did calm down. It's like it slows down every 30 minutes, and then... But you're still doing the same thing, just a little lower. And then bonds. Senator Murkowski plans amendment to erase IRA solar and wind tax. Ethereum on the low and Bitcoin. So again, they've been on fire. Then you got the little Treasury plays doing some damage. But yeah, that's the first red I've seen. Oil's been, again, there was Kazakhstan stuff and then the OPEC. Oil could still go a lot lower. Remember, before all this drama, that shit was below 60. So I think there's a lot of bullish room for oil to go down. Why does Fed Bostic keep making comments? This guy loves it. CMG's ripping. They woke up too. All right, what time? It's only 8, bro. MSTR is up. Remember, though, that's what we talked about earlier throughout the months. Those days where crypto would go up, MST would go down, and vice versa. Bostic is on Trump's list to replace Powell. I doubt it. Even if he is, I think that's just probably a joke. I think Bostic is one of the worst. I think Bostic is the worst, to be honest. Because the other guy who I would say is worse than Bostic was, not Kaplan, what was his name? The guy who owns the Royals, the Kansas City Royals. And what was his name? Not Kaplan. Clarita. Richard Clarita. Guy owns a fucking baseball team, ballin' as hell, and then during the pandemic is just day trading millions of dollars of Netflix. Here's the deal. Are you ready? He's the only guy who is worse than Bostic. But here's the difference. He actually left. You see what I'm saying? He got caught. He didn't try to be weird about it. He just stepped down and he took his job like a normal Fed person would. He worked in the private sector. Bostic did it 3 times and then still tries to keep his job and act like he's a fucking bank regulator of some capacity. I'm like, come on, bro. That I can't respect. So yeah, Bostic's the worst of all of them. Yeah, Bostic just needs to leave, dude. That's at least Clarita robbed the public. We shamed him and then gave him $500,000 a year working in the private sector. That's how we should do it, okay? That's how you do it in America. Not let the guy stay, do it 3 times, and then act like we give a shit what he's saying. No, okay? That's it. You don't punish him and give him a nice private sector job, and that's fine, and walk away from your shady antics. But no, they want Bostic to stay. Let him make a fucking 10 comments every hour. Oh. CRISPR, remember we saw some gene editing stuff last week. ES. Spur core weaving again, bro. That was $4, $5. So if you got it, and then even Reddit's popping again too, but core weave breaking out. And then bonds a little bit. We're still at this level though, unfortunately. Waller was not Bostic, no. Raphael Bostic and then Christopher Waller. 2 people. 2 different people. Did Amazon go up? No, Nuggets on the high. McRib. Yeah, Waller's not too bad though. Waller's just like kind of he just wants a job, but he's not bad. Most of them aren't bad, bro. Like I even Bostic for a little bit. Like I would like I would like Bostic if he didn't do that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why it's so weird to me, because I feel like Bostic he never really like got in my way. Like he didn't seem disruptive. It's just weird that like he was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up trading municipal bonds multiple times. Hood, did they catch the predator yet or no? Did they catch the token first? They launch stock tokens, reveal layer 2 blockchain, expand crypto in EU and US with perpetual futures and staking. Oh, Robin Hood. Yeah, well, it could be just sell the news, but it's holding up pretty decent. Fed Dolly is poop. Oh yeah, she's terrible. I knew she was poop when... See, and this is what I was saying just like the other day. Everybody has something to say about Trump in the bill, but then I'm like, how come nobody commented on all of the stuff we're rescinding? That means 4 years ago, nobody gave a shit about all of that money. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't let Donald Trump slide, but that's why it's just the irony of all of it is crazy. But then Fed Dolly, I'll never forget it, because she was one of the people, like, she was a perfect example of people knew the problems that were happening, and for political reasons and name and keeping up the propaganda, they said the opposite. And what I'm talking about, you guys were all here live, is when Fed Dolly, it's like middle of 2021, 2022, inflation is at like 9%, and then this lady makes $500,000 a year, and then she still missed the fucking banking crisis in her district. She gets paid $500,000 a year, and this lady had the audacity to say inflation wasn't bad. And then she was like, yeah, like, we don't really feel it. And she was trying to say how people don't really feel inflation and Putin price hike. Remember Putin price hike and oil? And she was just saying, well, yeah, prices and numbers, but it's not that. And that was when I knew. Because that was just terrible. Like, again, to make that much money and then to go up in the middle of it all and, like, act like there's no inflation. Like, and that's the stuff. That's the disingenuity that I just can't vibe with. Oil's on the high, CVX, and then a couple of other smaller caps moving. Is that XLV? Yeah, people have articles on it.
We are less than 2 weeks away from the May Fed meeting, and all signs pointing towards the first 50 basis point hike since 2000. As Jared mentioned, Brian Chung covers the Fed for us. He has yet another indication of what's to come. Hey there, brother. What do you hear?
Hey, Dave, I'm here outside the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. A very busy Thursday of chatter from major Fed officials, obviously tuned into the IMF commentary from Federal Reserve Chairman. But that's mine. It's higher. Take a listen to our conversation from earlier this morning.
We have to get to 2.5 if we aim for that. And I'm part of a committee, so we haven't deliberated on all of that yet, but that's my view. If you get to 2.5 by the end of the year, then you need to, make up that difference of 2 percentage points over the course of the remaining meetings.
No, that's it. Yeah, but people are talking about it. That was August 4th, 2022. I want the clip of it because it pissed everybody off. But that was like just in the middle of it. Yeah, she said, quote, "I don't feel the pain of inflation anymore. I see prices rising, but I have enough that I can make substitutions." That's what she said. This was during 2022, 9% inflation. Is this it? That's an ad. That's not it. Yeah, core, dude, we called out the first one. We called it out at 163 to 166, and then it just took off. So yeah, if you got it there, I mean, if you were listening, you should have heard it. Oh, I think I got it. All right.
Who follows up with the question, where are you personally seeing the impact of inflation in your own daily life?
I have to say that I live, I don't like the pain of inflation anymore. I see prices rising, but I have enough that I can make substitutions, that I can do things. So I'm not immune to gas prices rising, food prices rising. I sometimes balk at the price of things, but I don't find myself in a space where I have to make trade-offs because I have enough. Many, many Americans have enough.
Who follows up?
Yeah, there you go. That's what you were told. In the middle of many Americans have enough. And you have enough. From the lady making $500,000 a year in San Francisco. Yeah, that's why. So yeah, her and Bostic though, but like I'm saying, Bostic was just making money. Hers was just very, very ridiculous. There you go. I reposted it for you. I was Mary Daly. I don't know how to say her name. Fed Dolly. Robinhood live stream? No, I'm not. I'm betting on it, but I'm not listening to it. That's it. I think you could bet on when it ends. So that's why I said, you know, fuck the long term. If I go and take the 200 grand and bet on the hot dog contest, I could buy a house. So you see what I'm saying? Because like I was gonna take the 10-year plan and I was gonna do the whole like grow it, but then I was like, wait a minute, because I was looking at my gains and like in the same account, my gains, it says I'm up, like I've doubled my money, but then it says hot dog eating contest. So then in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, if I just take this $200,000 down payment, win the hot dog eating contest, that's the easiest money I'll ever make. Boom, I can now pay cash. So yeah, so I don't need to watch the stream. I just need to start, you know, learning the predictive analysis and the economic education of hot dog eating contests. Because when they came out with the gambling stuff, they said it was for learning in mathematics and stats and predictive stuff. So I want to make sure I find the real importance of said hot dog eating contest and understand the predictive nature and what it means for the economy. SPY is getting a little bit of a red. You don't need to do it 5 times. We just got to do it twice. We do 200 to 4, 250 to 500, and then 500 to $1 million. That's it. 2 trades, bro. 2 trades. So yeah, that's sarcasm. If you don't understand, that is me criticizing the fact that Robinhood, the people who are supposed to revolutionize finance, have turned into a bookie. I think it's very, very sad. But I love you, Robinhood. I would love to work with you guys and help people. But if you guys want to go that route, keep fucking yourself. And God bless you. Amen. I mean, oil flushing is bullish. I mean, the market may go down with it for a little bit, but generally, like I said, below that 60 is good. You turned 25 in 12 days! Thinking about switching careers into IT? Well, happy birthday. What are you doing now? But I think IT is good, and a lot of people from finance switch to IT, but then a lot of people in IT, they can't switch to finance. So you're in a unique advantage if you are in finance already, but I would do both at the same time. Whatever you want to start, try to use your off time now to learn it, and then you could transition. That's the part. I'm open to anything, bro. You guys want to switch jobs? What I say is like you should be using your weekend, the couple of hours a day that you have free, and use that to start setting up the building blocks, and then you'll be good to go, baby. You'll be good to go. You screwed yourself on NBA Finals on Robinhood for a week's gain. Was trying to stay off? No way. How many of you have done that? Because this is what I'm trying to say, bro. Like, people think that, like, I'm trying to fuck over Robinhood. I'm not. If Robinhood wants to help people, I would love to help them and support them. That's fine with me. But like I'm saying, it's just like, I can't believe they're putting straight up gambling right next to people's long terms. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe they're giving people the temptation, and they masqueraded it like it was mathematics in the beginning too. They masqueraded it like it was predictive analysis and education, only to end at a hot dog eating contest and basketball games. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like I'm saying, is just be very careful. And Robinhood, y'all just do better. Make another app. Just make Robinhood, make it a separate app. I would be down with that. You see what I'm saying? If where you had to log into something separate, still your Robinhood, you could transfer funds in between, you know? But yeah, it's a bad, it's a slippery slope. That's all. Y'all know the debates. Y'all know the slippery slope debates. There's a lot of things. If you're like, oh, you're overreactive. You're being overreactive. Oh, it's not this. You're being dramatic. But it's like, no, it's real. You know, one thing leads to another, my friend. BMNR 26. Oh man. EH, that's China, MAC. Spy near the low though. And then we got 15 minutes till push up, so we're chugging along, brethren. We're chugging along. It reminds you of Westworld. I remember when Westworld got really popular. Remember when that show first came out? Wasn't that like your first AI show? Actually, now that I think about it, I guess The 100. That was the same time as Westworld. You remember The 100? I love that show. Wandheda! I love, what's her name? What was her name? Olivia? Was that her name in the show? You remember Wandheda? I know the Wandheda was the blonde chick. Who was the... One, you are enemy of one crew. Octavia. Yeah, bro. I told you that, bro. I DM'd her. I slid in Octavia's DMs, bro. Okay, this was before my girlfriend. But that's why. But, oh, I loved Octavia. That was my girl. But nah. I loved the 100. Enemy of one crew or enemy of one. You're either one crew or enemy of one crew. But yeah, that was like an AI movie. Isn't that crazy? Think about that. When that shit came out, you know, it was, that was AI. That was AI. Did I get a reply? I don't kiss and tell, man. I can't. I'm not going to put anybody on blast like that. No, she ignored me, bro. What the fuck? What do you mean? All right.
Perspective.
Let me go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Uber and Lyft, Real Cult News on Twitter. I posted that Fed clip on my Twitter if you want to see it.
And so if you have, one that's, 50 or, 80% cheaper, I think you'll see a shift. There's obviously questions in terms of execution and infrastructure that Tesla's going to need to build out. It's a different business model. Waymo is using, going through Uber, where Tesla is the vertically integrated and building their own service. So that will come with more risk. If they're successful at that, it does give them an advantage in terms of what their costs can be.
How good is Elon Musk as CEO for Tesla over the next 5 years, and to what extent is he focused on Tesla? Yeah, obviously less focused on politics than he was, but still a bit of a distraction for you or not? And you mentioned some of his other companies already. Is he fully committed to Tesla or the others?
I've known Elon for 15 years. We're not close, but I've known him, have meetings with him in person, and I do think that Elon probably has something to prove now. And I think that energy is going to be focused within his businesses. And so, I think he's one of the great innovators of our modern time, and we'll see, how he shifts that energy in terms of focus and what's to become. But it's tough to bet against that right now.
Jack, great stuff as always. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me back.
So to come here on Money Movers, the big banks all getting a boost over the past month, and it's not just because they passed the annual stress test. We'll take a look at what's been driving those stocks higher when we come back.
And the WNBA announcing that it's expanding to 18 franchises, a league record. We're going to look at which cities have been granted expansion teams coming up.
Hi. You guys are blessed. You know that? If you don't, just say it. You'll see. You'll see. We could own a Waymo and take it. Oh, well, isn't that what Tesla's going to be? You buy your Tesla and then it works for you. That's still going to be a trip. I miss the Waymos, though. I'm sorry, Elon. My little experience with Waymo, it was nice while it lasted. And then now that the Waymos are safe in LA, that's good. You guys remember that? There was a period of time a couple of weeks ago. It was not safe to be a Waymo in Los Angeles. That was deadly. That was deadly. The WNBA sustains that many teams. Where did the WNBA come from? And then, dude, why do people... Never. This is going to sound bad. I stopped myself. But hold on. Why do people watch a lot of WNBA now? I've heard more about the WNBA in the last, 6 months than any point in my life. Dude, I even had an Uber driver talking to us about the WNBA, and he was like, you guys aren't involved? And I had to, pretend. I'm like, no, I like basketball. I'm like, I was letting him explain it all. And then, dude, but, he says he has season tickets. He go all the time. I'm like, what? This is popular. But yeah, damn, be a Menard. I know, but dude, I'm seeing people talk about tickets, ads. I think I was on, I think some girl, I was next to a WNBA player on one of my flights. I just didn't know who she was. That's the sad part. They're gonna try to infect you, Marcus. That's what they do. They see. They're gonna try to get the secondary route. Be cautious. Seen it before. Hey, the plan for core weed. Woo! Lisa Leslie, that's the only WNBA player I know, but I don't think she plays anymore. Balling on him like I'm Lisa Leslie. I remember Lisa Leslie. Lisa Leslie's iconic, actually. I feel like that's the iconic one. Hood's kind of popping. Hey, be patient. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think even Thursday, I'm gonna be here for the jobs, and then Thursday I'm gonna take off. So you should probably do the same. Did it just turn on? No, you just haven't been here in months. So good to see you, but you fell behind. So that's the moment you guys let me know that you lose priority. Does that make sense? So your ranking drops even if you have a 5-year badge. I just go back to So yeah, you guys gotta lock in. You gotta lock in. You've been here every day, but you just, yeah. Your badge is 1 year, I think. I believe. Snake plant, good. Very good. I got more plants. I got a lot. I moved some out of my room because like it was getting like buggy, but yeah, other than that, I got some good ones. Do they ever dunk? No, I don't. I was like, wait. I was like, what are you talking about? And then yeah, no, though I've never seen it. I've never even seen like a full game, but maybe one day I will. Maybe one day I will. I know. I have a couple I need to get you. You've been in compound mode, bro. Mercs. You've been to a Sparks game. It wasn't terrible. I'm telling you, people, it's an event now. The amount of people I've heard talking about going to a WNBA game, more than I've ever heard in my life. So it's good though. That'd be cool if it turned into like a very like popular league. NUE, bro, we haven't done anything. So yeah, guys, it's already 2 hours in. We're gonna get tomorrow, then Wednesday, and then Thursday morning. But like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be slow. So I haven't traded anything. We've gotten a couple call outs. I put out a couple of stream alerts. I'll still call out some plays, but I don't think I'm gonna take anything until we get something, bro. And we might not. So I don't know. We should we should do cold calls on Craigslist. We should go. Let's start negotiating for some farm items. Buying United would be a value or speculative play. I'd have to check. Well, first you should decide if you want to own the airlines, because that is just its own little thing. And that I think is its own question you need to figure out. Oof, it's down on the year, but then it's up on the multi-year, but then down on like 2020. So that's up to you, but this is why I just avoid airlines in general. But at least it's down on the year, still up on the multi-year, and then pull it out. It's pretty much unchanged in the last 5 years. And then look at the bonds. Oh, you meant United Healthcare. Yeah, well, that's a better than UAL. Also, I don't like airlines. UNH, I was looking at it. It's getting there. It's been enough time. This is like the first window of time, because it has been like, what, 2-3 months now almost since we've done all this. So still the same situation. I do think by 2026, and then spending bill, what happens with Medicare, Medicaid, all that could be important too. But I like it. I like I said, I like it and I don't. I like the value. I like where it stands for a healthcare name, a name everybody knows about. It's like dollar for dollar, one of the best valuations you could buy. But then I don't know what's going to happen with it. The timing, the fraud, whether it's over or underexposed to that is going to be, that's the difference between $100 and $600 on this stock. So give it some time, but we've already burned 3 months. And like I said, opportunity cost and timing, that's really going to be your risk with UNH. So like I'm saying, you guys, so back to this Robinhood thing, I love it. Because do you guys see what I told you? I told you, I had a vision, not like a real vision, but like I saw it, but I didn't see it. Like I was telling you guys, long-term holdings and what we do here with the Colt and the long-term, it is a dying breed. I hope you realize in 10 years, some of you are going to have the craziest advantage or not. Why am I saying that? As Robinhood is announcing this, why am I reminding you? Why? Not the gambling. It has nothing to do with the gambling. We're already over that. There's one reason and one reason only. Think about it. You're going to have a crazy advantage because people will not be owning stocks. I could almost guarantee it. It will. Think about it. Why? Think about the announcement right now. Why am I saying that? Well, we're going to own them. I hope you listen. Some of you may be deceived, and you may end up abandoning it. That's all in the realm of possibility. Dude, they're talking about owning tokens. Yeah, dude, this is disgusting. Bro, people are going to start buying tokens of stocks. I think at one point there's going to be a real difference between the people who own the equity and then the people who own the tokens. So look, they're saying they're going to have thousands by year end. That means there's going to be in the future a difference between a token of a stock and a stock. And then what do you think the young people right now who already ask me, should I buy a $2 stock or a $20 stock, thinking that the price has a difference, right? It's all about the quality. And so now think about that. What do you think the tokens are going to cost? I bet you the tokens will be cheaper. So then people are going to be buying tokens of a stock and a representative of a stock, but they're not going to own the stock. Dude, I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. So like I'm saying, bro, it's literally going to be, I'm telling you, that people don't talk about this anymore. The logic is dying, even though it works very well. And now there's all these new things that are coming out. People are going to go to every route except for owning it. That's the crazy part. You think I don't know what they are. I mean, it's going to be a derivative, obviously, or just like stable coins. It's just going to be a way to hold your own cash balance within a company. So then that way, like, you don't have to keep... I see the benefit of it. I just see how people are going to misuse it. That's the problem. I think some stable coin ideas are decent. Like, again, like think with a bank where instead of having to like move around money and I could just sell out, get my JP Morgan token, and then send it to another JP Morgan client if I wanted to do a deal. That's dope. You see what I'm saying? That's easy, efficient, fast. But it's a derivative, and it's a token of money. It's a derivative of just representing your value somewhere else. But like I'm saying, people are going to misuse it. They're going to take these derivative tokens that represent something, and now they're going to sell that as ownership. So now you're not going to own the stock. You're going to own a stock that theoretically, or a token that's supposed to have I don't know if it's a right or whatever. I don't know if it gets taxed. I have no idea how. There probably will be a tax loophole because it doesn't trigger like a sales event if you're moving it. When you sell out of the asset, that'll be that'll trigger the tax event. But then the money, if you just keep moving it between stable coins, I don't know how that works. Well, yeah, blockchain transfers ownership and recording, but what do you think a tokenization of a stock is? That's what I'm saying. It's just going to confuse people. Because you're saying blockchain records ownership, but what do you think a stock is? That is your ownership already recorded. It doesn't have like a ledger, but do you see what I'm saying? You can't double record it. They're just going to create another thing that it's going to seem like you have ownership, but you just are only going to own the token. They're just going to sell you digital products to collect commissions on. That's it. It's Robinhood. What are we talking about? But like I'm saying, you give that enough time and years, I genuinely think a lot of people might end up owning tokens and not owning stocks. So that's what I'm saying. It has benefits and uses, but yeah, it's going to be I think it's going to create a further gap between equity holders and everybody else. Yeah, you'll hold the monetary value, but nothing else. That's it. You won't have not even the voting. I don't even think you'll get anything else. It'll just track the monetary value. Exactly. How many tokens per share? I don't know. Yeah, no dividends. No, and even then, they'll probably find a way to let you borrow against it, but it's just, yeah, you're just tracking the price. That's all. But like I'm saying, all that matters is for us. Like I'm telling you, I told you guys there's going to be a window, and I think as time goes on, there's going to be a very big gap between people who own equity and not. And doesn't, again, you could probably make money not owning equity, but oh yeah, when it's all said and done, I think there will be a clear line drawn, and one day you'll see as it gets put to the test. They expect the middle class to be wiped out? No. This is how they're going to wipe people out. It's the reverse, bro. Robinhood is just doing it because you could see their other actions. Robinhood makes money off of affiliate. They just sell you shit. So that's all. If Robinhood, they just want to make money on your activity. You buy a mortgage, they want to refer it. You get a credit card, they want to refer it. That's what they're doing with all of these things. They just want that referral fee. So this case, this is just going to allow them to make money off people's trading of price without ever having to own a stock or anything. That's what I'm saying. They'll let you trade a NVIDIA token. You could go back and forth, making, losing money. They skim their fees without ever touching a NVIDIA stock, without ever needing ownership. So I think it'll lead to them wiping people out, but I don't think they're doing it because they expect to wipe out. You'll get access, but you're not going to get real access. It's all an illusion. Again, I'm not really against it. I'm just saying, as somebody who owns, I'm seeing my opportunity. So like I'm saying, I think there's some great uses for stable coins, but somebody's lying to you if they're like, yeah, you get to own private companies. No, you might be able to track the price of a private share with a token, but you don't own that shit. What do you mean? You're not, just because you bought the token doesn't mean you're gonna own OpenAI or you own an equity stake in SpaceX. You could have a place marker representing the value, but you don't own shit. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I'm like, wow, it's gonna create a very, very big thing. EA popping, I have that in the bottom right. Yeah, it's like a digital ADR, pretty much. I think even less. I don't think they expect people to afford. No, bro. I think it's just like I said, most people, this is where I think the next generations, those of you that stick to the long term, you're going to kill it. Because then now, if this becomes popularized, people are just going to see a cheaper alternative. Do you get what I'm saying? They're going to see the $20 token versus the $200 share and be like, wow, I could still track the price and make money off of it. They're going to end up buying that. And then before you know it, younger people in a whole generation, they're just going to acquire tokens and they're going to own tokens, but they never own the stock. It's going to be terrible. No limits on day trading. I know. I was telling you guys this, like, what, a month ago? I was just saying, you guys, I see it. Everywhere it's going right now, I'm telling you, long term is going to be a UNFI. It's decent. It looks better on the high ticker. But I was telling you guys, like, dude, the long term is it's a dying breed, and it works. It works so well, and a lot of people just still don't understand it. But then the way it keeps going, there's all these things that are leading people to not owning equity. This is like every conspiracy you've ever heard of. You'll own nothing, but like, look around, like, you see it everywhere. And that's why I was like, bro, like, the young guys and even the people who watched us make a lot of money right in front of them with such an easy strategy, they still can't comprehend it, and they're tripping. And there's a lot of people in America right now, they don't understand equity. They don't understand holding, even if you explained it to them. And that's why with all these temptations and new things coming about, that's why I'm telling you, I'm like, bro, what do you guys mean 10 years motherfuckers are going to be holding stocks? They will be, the guys with 401ks and all of that, but like, most people are just, they're going to get turned on to other things. And they're not, or they're going to buy them and sell them, buy them and sell them, buy a Bitcoin, sell it. Again, no one's going to hold. I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy. Where can I learn? Here, I'll teach you, man. It's just what we do. That's what I'm saying. Like, saving 10% and putting it towards quality. Like, a lot of people are going to get tricked into buying shit, or now they're going to get tricked into buying these derivatives. We saw it with options. Like, I know people, they're like, can I buy an option for a long term? And I'm like, no, dude, that's not real ownership. Like, a lot of the generations are just, they don't understand that when you own something good, you could hold it forever. You see what I'm saying? And when something's good, it holds value, and there's no expiration, there's no gambling, like, it's there forever. So it's just all about focusing on quality. It's what we do here. Save 10% every month. You pay yourself first and then apply it to stocks you're going to hold for 10 years minimum. That's why I say, and how we're going to do it. Channel should be called Long-Term Fraternity. Why? I think I give some of the best trading info out there. And so I do everything very well. I know I sound like an egotistical prick, but if that was the case, we wouldn't be pulling numbers like Bloomberg. We wouldn't be doing what we've done for 5 years. So if y'all want to keep trying to change me or try to put me in a box, be my guest, but you're incorrect. The fact is, I'm getting you real-time trading shit that no people can do. That's why we have a certain edge and advantage. And then I do remind you guys to become owners, because I care about your future. I'm not here just to benefit myself, and I hope all of my words and actions make that clear. That's why I want you all to hold long terms, and that's why we could all walk away with something. I would hate to know some of you this long and watch you fall victim to this and not own shit. I want your families and you to be successful and stable. And you know, as Uncle says, fuck you fascists, the ownership has set me free. As many people I've seen call people fascists, get ownership, it'll cure the fascism. So I hope you do that. And that's why I think all of you need to do it. But yeah, so point is, we could get best of both worlds, and nothing's changing. That's the funny part, because we could do the short term. We could be here during the day. We could get all of it, but please don't forget about the long-term mission. And if you try to misrepresent that, yeah, bro, I'm not going to, that's unacceptable. I say 10% of whatever you have. So you need to start It doesn't matter what you have when starting. What matters is you save 10% and stick with it. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, but you need to save 10% of your income, put it into a separate account where you do not trade. You only do 10 years minimum, 10% of your income, and you keep adding 10% till the day that you die. And that's it. And that right there, and then to high quality stuff that will be around for 10 years and that you know about. You don't have to invest in stuff you've never heard of. Invest in things that you actively, spend your own money on. But that's what we did. We've done it 3 different times, 3 different sizes, and it has worked on every single one of them. Doesn't matter, you make $2,000 a month, $20,000 a month, same strategy. Do not despise the days of small beginnings. Amen. All right, man. This is the highest you've been in an hour. And wait, we missed push-ups. Bop, bop, bop. Stand up. We got to do a push-up. I need to do a push-up. I need to stretch out a little bit. Are you taking notes? Well, let's do it. So how much do you make? Or if you're comfortable sharing. Or let me ask you this. Can you do is $200 a month? How does that sound? $300 a month. Because that's what we do on 2 of the small accounts. And it took about a couple years to get a down payment out of there. So the account that we have now, we have one small account with $30,000. We started out with $500 like 5 years ago, I think. And then just added $200 a month. Or $300 a month. $200 for the first 2 years, and then we raised it. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you could do that, IRA, yeah, that's perfect then, bro. You're killing it. That's what you do. So IRA is like a long term. But yeah, this is $200, $300 a month. Then you go and you do that. Then you start it. Boom. So if you have a retirement, that's already there. You can make a separate one. Go make a Schwab. And then just start putting a starting amount, then $200 a month, and then you buy good value stocks that you will hold for 10 years. And we have a whole list we posted on this channel every time we make a move. This is the model portfolio. But yeah, you cannot do options with the long term. You could do it on a separate account. So I trade options separately. But any of these long terms, there's no options. You could do covered calls eventually, but let's keep it simple. You don't want any options in your long term. That's why we call it the long term. That's why we just had this talk here with tokens, because like I'm telling you, a lot of people have been brainwashed into thinking that these derivatives are ownership, and they're not. So even an option, it's not real ownership. Again, you can make money on options. I love options, but at the same time, it's not a long term. And that, like, save 10%, hold it, and put it in there, that's not what it is. Yeah, so that's, as long as you keep it all stocks, you'll be good, bro. That's what I'm saying. And then you'll trade and make another account for trading, and then you'll see the reality. But at the end of the day, that little account is going to turn very big, because it's always going to win. It keeps growing, good ownership, all that stuff, you know? That's what you got to do, baby. Can't spell derivative without Diddy. That's true. It's true. So be careful. Don't get diddied. Actually own. Net on the high. SPY, bro, is the biggest we've been. Plastrophe. What up, baby? Good morning. All right, man. And do some push-ups, bro. Come on, Chad. Oh, where's my resistance? I gotta do my shoulder workouts. Leaps have been good supplements. I know, but come on, bro. So, like, do you see, like, the new guys asking the questions? And, like, do you see how I'm trying to make it very clear? Your comment just adds confusion, brother. Do you recognize that? Because you're trying to, like, circumvent what I just said, or, like, add, like, a weird caveat. Again, you can make a lot of money trading. I do it myself. But like I'm trying to share with everybody here, a lot of people have been brainwashed into thinking that options are ownership, and they are not. As the guy who's made a lot of tutorials, I need you guys to understand this. So your comment following up with that, man, that's terrible. Because like I'm saying, yeah, you can make money in supplement, but that's not our strategy. That's you breaking the rules. You can follow that guy if you want, but that's not what I teach people. You see what I'm saying? I teach you guys separate them completely. Stop flirting with them. If you want to go trade a leap, go trade a leap, but don't fool anybody or yourself calling it a long term or saying it or, oh, but I make money here. Again, I used to know a lot of strippers that make a lot of money. I would never tell you to tell your daughters to get into stripping. Do you get what I'm saying? You could supplement income in many ways. Does not mean it's the right way, and it does not mean it's what we have outlined here. So again, options, you guys just separate them, do whatever you want. If it's worked for you, great. But for the guys who are new and trying to figure out long term, I don't want any confusion on this topic. There should be zero options at all. And if you try to flirt with it and try to say it's this or that, you can, and you could be like one of these guys, and I'll rant at you, or I don't really give a shit. It doesn't matter. But it's just the wrong way. So you guys figure it out. But if you really care about the long term and you want to do it the proper way, I don't even fuck with the options in there. Separate account for options. All strategies are just totally mutually exclusive. Don't be the guy who gets tricked into thinking that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's dangerous. You'll be brainwashed and you won't know it. Sometimes it's harder to convince somebody that they've been lied to than telling them the truth. So yeah. Oh, okay. Now do a push-up. You've never touched an option? That's good. There's nothing wrong with it, but like I'm saying, like you see the mindset, and then of course there's some people like that comment was just every single time we'll have like 5 people confused, and then somebody will be like, but I'm a stripper, but I did stripping and my life is fine. It's like, that's good. We don't wish harm upon you, but that's not what the message we're trying to send. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to keep people safe, get them on the right path. You know, maybe stripping worked out for you, but you know, it doesn't work out for everybody. So I'm gonna try to get people on the right road. Call it a day. Damn, bro. I'm doing like a looped resistance on my shoulders, and it hurts. Well, I'm not commenting on that industry per se. It's like you could use drug dealing as well. You could use speeding. I've given this analogy many times. It's the same thing. It's like usually I will tell people driving 150 miles an hour is dangerous. Don't do that. That's not what we teach. And then someone will be like, oh, I drove 150 from San Diego to LA yesterday and I didn't get a ticket or crashed. It's like, okay, that's cool. But that's like, you know what I'm saying, bro? It's like, that's not what we're talking about. And I'm glad that you're safe, but I don't support what you're doing. But I'm glad you're safe, but that's not what we're trying to tell people. And because the reality is you could do dangerous stuff or stuff that's not going to help you. You could do it without getting hurt for some time. But then if it does happen, the consequence, the real wisdom, like I'm trying to share with you, if you know the consequence, you wouldn't do it. Does that make sense? If you're truly a wise person and you know that the potential consequence is losing half of your money, all of your money, right? If I told you that you eat out of this bucket, you could potentially die, you wouldn't touch it if you know the consequence, right? If the consequence was minor, then yeah, I get it. Then we could have a discussion about, oh, okay, then push it. You know what I'm saying? But no, in this case, you know what the consequence is, right? Because what happens? What if you're wrong about the options and you put it in your retirement and lose it all? That's it. Your life is ruined. What happens if you spend 2, 3, 4, 5 years and then you operate on this false fallacy and then you do have the worst case scenario, you ruin your future, you ruin your savings, you didn't have what you wanted already. That's terrible. So the consequence is high. Fucking around with your retirement, long-term, options in the long term. Again, the difference between some of you who did the options in the long term and didn't, look at the long term. We're talking 5 years wasted or not. All-time highs are starting from square one. So that's the whole point. It's like, if we know the consequence for those who fail is serious, then the real wisdom, you should understand that then. And you should understand why we're like, hey man, it might work for a little bit, but when most cases where it doesn't work lead to mass damage, that's foolish if you want to pursue it like that. So, like I'm saying, I think options, you separate it, you'll be fine. But this whole put it in the long term and it may, it worked for me, it didn't work for him. Just the rule is the rule, baby. So keep yourself safe. MSTR, back to 400. And then we're coming back down, but you just haven't moved. What up, Mr. Taylor? Damn. Look at that. Thank you, Mike. I don't know if y'all just realized what happened. Mike just bought a membership just to tell you guys in the chat that he ignored this and then it hurt him, but now he still was able to recover. Amen. So listen to that. Look at all the people in the chat already, even people willing to join just to tell you this because it's real. So again, we want to help you guys. We don't want you to end up bad. Options, you can use them properly, but I can't have you, we can't flirt with them in the wrong way. You see what I'm saying? I can't have you look at options like it's going to be your savior when it's not. You get what I'm saying? The long term is going to be your savior. The long term is going to give you what you actually want. All of you who are like, wow, I want to make a lot of money in the stock market. I want my money to work for me. I want all of this. The long term will give you that. Options won't. Options can give you that, but it's not the same way where long term will give you that. Does that make sense? So as long as you just aren't in the wrong mindset thinking that, and that's where I think the people telling you this and reminding you and being like, yeah, I heard this advice and all that, that's the reality. Because when the people bring up the thing and they're like, no, I could do this with options, they think we're trying to tell them they can't do options. No, I'm saying you need to separate them. And the mentality, bro, you have to you can't view them as the same things. You can't view them as the same safety and quality. One of them is for the rest of your life. The other is a speculative activity. Does that make sense? There's two big differences. One is your retirement. One is going to be for your house. One is all of your money, saving it and being wise. The other one is a trading activity. It's a way to generate, money here and there, but you're risking it. That, as long as you can separate it like that, you're going to be fine. But the guys who blur the lines, you're going to run into trouble. You ignored it 18. Yeah, now I've been doing it. Well, it's good. You will make all the money back. And that's the thing. A lot of you guys, you're resilient and you will have the ability to bounce back and make your money, but you do got to protect it. And that's where the long term comes in. If you want to trade options, it has to be separate. Have a strict budget so that you can't lose any more than what you define. And even then, it's still all separate. MP waking up. Remember, they got clobbered on Friday. What time is it? 9 o'clock. Top of the hour. %10 of your 10% means you save 90% at worst. Yeah, no matter what. Or like 80%. Give or take. APH. Lila. MSRT. MSTR. 4 months, full-time trader, 2.5, up more in the long term. Amen, baby. But hey, as long as you just separate it. And then again, too, some of y'all just please don't add confusion. If you are the exception, that's cool, but don't confuse the younger guys. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying I think the long term, everybody wins. And once we set up that foundation, you go wherever you want. But if you don't have the right foundation, that's just why. What are we trying to build? Big fan of long term. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I wonder what it'll be at by the end of this week, but this week is gonna be slow. Is the stablecoin situation bad? I mean, down the line, if we get into a dollar stablecoin, and then all of your money is there. Powell is tomorrow, yeah. Something in Portugal or Spain or something. Okay, gold is ripping. A couple of other things. High ticker just got a boot. You're just right at the first 3 candles, man. So we haven't really done much. Dropping to 401k to start a long term. I like the 401k. The only downside is that you have different liquidity and you can't use it till retirement. But if they match it and tax free and all of that, I'm a big fan. Yeah, Swiss and Euro. That's why I just wait for the dollar, because that's part of it. But they have to, we need either dollar dies or dollar just strengthens all of the loss from last quarter. DCBO, Palantir just started waking up, and TSM. I think a lot of it this week, I mean, it's probably just going to be the gap ups and gap downs. I think one day this week we'll actually have intraday movement, but it is holiday. I mean, we had a little bit of bad news and then you quickly brushed it off, so just factor that into where you're at now. The BBB, it should be a catalyst. You're gonna just get kind of like you saw with solar. Everybody who's getting the money, they'll get one burst, and then from there we'll at least know, and then you could start to dude, I think 2026 is gonna be very bullish if that bill gets passed. Obviously there will be other economic things that could turn it bearish, but the one thing that I think is bullish is that you literally have a tax cut. Everyone's going to be getting a tax cut starting 2026. Yeah, military, that's what I'm saying. They already went up, but on July 4th, if it passes, they'll get a boost. And then whoever's getting allocations, and then there's a lot of money in the bill. Like I said on Friday, there's small cap companies that their industry is getting allocated money. We just don't know who's going to get it. So that'll be another wave. But right off the bat, military should go, and a couple of like infrastructure, AI type stocks. And then after that, we just start to see the effect of tax cuts and everything else. He's supposed to, they're going to vote tonight. The Senate, they said by midnight, if they approved it, then it should be able to get signed by July 4th. Otherwise, if it doesn't, he'll probably have to do some more negotiating, and then we'll come back to it. Oh, we need to finish it, but I'm already like, I did another 200, but like it's still most of the money's still military, and then we got to see what other changes they're gonna make, and then yeah, but I'm shocked. I can't believe they're doing it. Still not done, but the way it looks like it, everyone's too greedy. The Democrats are getting their money, the Republicans are getting their money. They are not. What is this? L'Oreal signs agreement to acquire Wow U.S. hair care brand color. But they're not doing the AI thing standalone. So I'm shocked by that. But then, yeah. So, well, we can finish it. I'm on page like 470. I think we stopped at 170 here or something like that. But then, like I was saying this morning, like they're passing it. Like they voted already. They made a couple of changes, but all signs are pointing towards we're going to get some level of massive spending bill like this. I don't think they're backing down in any way, shape, or form. Again, I do hope that they could generate revenue. I see their vision. I just think that they can like do better. I think they should doubt their effort. I think they should try again, come back, really try to narrow it down, go standalone that AI bill. But then again, I don't think they are. I think they're going to smash this one home. Most people are supportive of it, and I'm glad it'll benefit a lot of Americans. But like I'm saying, I think they could do a lot better, and it is going to start a wave of money and a lot of other things. Yeah, both sides spend a lot, but I just think they could do better. That's all I'm saying, is that I don't think I listen. If they want to do it, do it. Why? Again, I see the benefits towards American people. I just see that squad, and I think there's a lot of talent on that team. And these people, maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but they're smarter than that. I think they could do another round. I don't know why they would take this bill first time. I would go through it, pick it apart, lower a couple billion from every category. You know what I'm saying? Like try again. Just try again. That's all I want. I don't even care if it's the same thing, but I know if they tried again, it wouldn't be the same thing. That's what I'm saying. But unfortunately, I think both sides are being bribed by the money. Both sides see a lot of money coming in. Tax, SALT deductions for the Democrats, the other tax cuts for the constituencies for the Republicans, and then defense spending. And then, yeah. I think, no, they delayed the X date, I think. I think they bought sometime. But it just all, you know, there's some good stuff that costs money, but like I said, I think they could do it better. But you're most likely going to get it passed. That's what it's looking like as of now, unless tonight we run into some issues. Producer led. This is a type of bill the next president can change. Just like how you saw, they could rescind some stuff But then the tax cut's going to get permanent. So nobody could rescind the tax thing after this. A hot lead on real estate? Yeah, send it over. tradingfraternity@gmail.com. Let me know if you're trying to wholesale it. Tell me how much you're trying to make in the price. Otherwise, if not, and I do make money, I will be paying you a fee. Well, that's what I'm saying. I see the vision with the bill, and the only thing I like about the bill is that at least a couple trillion goes to people, like Americans. And like there's some cool things that are going to help some families out that I like. That's the only thing I like about it. But which I think is a bribe, because I think that's what they use to market it, and then everybody else gets their other money, but at least they're giving some of it to the people. Whereas the last couple times, yeah, you had $200, $500 direct payments, but you didn't it wasn't the same broad benefit. It was people with ESG and other stuff that was getting the money. Charles Schwab, just a normal brokerage. You can do margin or no margin. It's up to you. I don't know how the tax on overtime works. I think it might be in the form of a refund. Or they just don't, the money will, any overtime hours probably will just go to your check untaxed. Like when you get your W-2, it tells you how much you made, and then it tells you how much removed for taxes. They'll probably just bill your overtime hours, and then that just doesn't get taxed. Which will be good. That means people you'll have a higher take-home pay if they pay you. If it's not on the taxes on the end and you just get the money straight up untaxed, then everybody will get higher take-home pay. I think it might be. That would be dope. It is. I mean, Uncle has a song. Most recessions are under Republicans, because this is the econ lesson. Structuralism, I believe, or the structural approach to electoral. I'm even getting confused. I think it's an electoral approach. But yeah, Republicans, I think 9 of the last 10 or 8 of the 10 recessions have been under Republicans. Republicans care more about the value of a dollar and stability, and they will sacrifice jobs and other things as long as the value of assets stays. That's the typical theory. And then vice versa, Democrats, they don't care as long as you have employment. So Democrats don't care about inflation and the value of currency as long as you have a job to match up with it. So that's kind of the electoral model of international political economies, there's a different adjective for it. But yeah, there's been times though where Obama, he kind of acted like a Republican before, and then even Trump 1.0, he had other features that were kind of more Democratic. So it's not, there is definitely counter examples to the model, but in general, that's why you've seen what you've seen. Shooter was only 20. That's crazy. I mean, again, a lot of them have been young people. I feel like a lot of young men and women have been disenfranchised lately. I would watch those econ lessons. Those are very, very good. If you haven't, on 678, it talks is no tax on overtime. Yeah, I haven't got there yet. Solar just is, I think solar is going to get less rescissions and couple more benefits. There's a couple of losers, but generally, solar did good from the bill negotiations over the weekend. Let's go, bro. Start right away. It's a slow process, bro. That's what I've been telling people all year, man. Even our long terms, it took years to get here. That's the beauty, is that we have some great performance and great results, but it's not like you just showed up and just did 1 or 2 plays and got it. You know, it's been a result of showing up every day, month after month, year after year, and it'll add up there. So I would start as soon as possible, right? You know, don't wait 2 weeks to do this. Just go make that account. It's easy. It takes 10 minutes. Go set up a 10% deposit, and then just start shopping for stocks. You don't have to buy anything, but then that's what I'm saying. You could get the process going, the savings and all of it, and then you'll be ready to go. But it's already going to take a long time, so there's no point in delaying, because nothing will happen immediately. Tomorrow it's on payday. Let's go. Temu resumes Meta Google ad spend. I just saw Pinduoduo climb up. And SPY a little lower. How do you know when it's time? Time for what? To buy? It will speak to you. I know I sound like a nut job, but you could ask anybody. I've said this for 5 years and done it. You know, like, because that's what you start off, you save, you build up the account, you're going to pick a couple of stocks that you know and love for like 10 years minimum. And then as things get higher and lower, you know what I'm saying? Then you're going to just add to it. And same thing with houses. You've saved assets. Don't be skeptical about housing. You should be skeptical about the decision you make before you buy the house. You get what I'm saying? That's the problem I have with everybody. That's where people piss me the fuck off with every asset, because they're acting as if they don't like to think before. So that's all you have to do. Like, you're worried about losing money. You don't want to buy at too high. That's a great worry to have. That's why with our long term, when we say 10 years minimum, you're supposed to think very, very like long and ahead about, like, I'm sorry, this guy, okay, the Democrat pumper dude, I'm banning you. Okay, I already answered your shit. You're throwing me off. Do you see how we're talking long term? I'm not here to pump the Democrats. You're right. GDP's up. You guys just destroyed all of the foreign stuff and didn't care about poor people. Okay, so next one. And yes, the history stuff about Republicans and stuff, it remains. And like I said, Obama did stuff Republicans did, and so did Mr. Trump, which means that you should know the history, but it doesn't mean that it plays out every single time. Okay, so like I was saying, well, where were we at? I'm sorry, I got distracted by the politics as I was trying to give homie the long-term one. There wasn't bad news, but you are dumping right now. You just got it, Raul. Oh yeah, with real estate, that's what I was saying. You have to think people don't think about the 10 years ahead of time when they buy a stock. It's the same thing with real estate. So if you have assets, bro, and you have been stacking up and saving, I would be looking for real estate. And you're right, because you're like, oh, I don't know where real estate is going to go. That's why you just find a deal. It doesn't matter what the real estate market is going to do if you get a good deal. Just like when we bought Meta at $90. You need to get Meta at $90, but real estate version. So even the compound that I'm buying now, I think it appraises, and it did appraise for a couple $100,000 more on the one they have, but I think it's going to be worth maybe $500,000, $600,000 more. I'm worried about the market. I'm not expecting it to go crazy, but at the same time, if you could buy a property with instant equity, why are you scared? That's an irrational fear. You see what I'm saying? You're like, I don't know where the market's going to go, But yeah, you get the worst house in the best neighborhood, or somebody is motivated and they need to sell, or because again, in this case, the people, they need to buy another property. So they're willing to, they know they're selling it to me cheap because they know I'm moving fast and they want to move fast too. So you'll find these if you look. And I think if you look every day, you have the money, you have the resources, you know, you look every day. And that's why I said I could help you guys out. I could be that last line of defense. If you're really worried about, is it too high, just email it and I'll tell you yes or no. But at the end of the day, I think you should be looking and hunting. And if you are worried about where the market's going to go, that means we got to get 10-20% off. But if you get 10-20% off, I wouldn't have that fear. That's not a real fear to have. You just got 200 grand, 300, 400 grand off the price. Who gives a fuck what happens? You know what I'm saying? Because real estate moves slow. Even if with that much equity, if it did start to turn, you could sell it low aggressively and still get out with a profit and before everybody else. So I like it. And I think your worry is in the right place, but don't let it turn into an irrational fear. Don't be a dummy. Don't FOMO into a house. Don't just buy anything. And you're right. You know, houses in your neighborhood at the high market price are probably too much. But you want to look for the ones that are cheaper. And if that ever comes your way, I wouldn't let that fear stand in front of you. Oh, Carlos! First house, close it! That's another property owner in the Chad, baby. That's what I'm talking about. UK stands by digital taxes after Canada bows to pressure. So that's your headline there, UK. But again, I think it's smaller this time. You saw what happened with Canada. Again, UK, we already have a good trade deal with the UK. So if we already sold off Canada and brushed Canada off, Canada didn't matter as much. I don't think the UK does either. But that sounds bad, but I don't think it's the worst. I think UK, we already have a great deal in place with them. They will be more nice than not. Of course, bro. I'm glad. Good work, Carlos. And Code. I love it. That's what I said. I had this talk. I think some of you guys have a good fear, but we need to make sure that fear doesn't get in the way. Because the thing causing you fear is a right thought. A lot of you are like, I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to be a dummy. I don't want to overpay. I don't want to get caught with a bad asset. So just answer the fears. Because you're right. You don't want to get caught. You don't want to do these things. So what do? That means you make sure you get a cheap house. You make sure you find a house that meets all of the criteria. And that you are double checking and verifying all of it. Doubt your efforts, not your aims. Exactly. It's good knowledge, but you got to act on it, man. That's why I'm saying, like, I really, some of these talks we have, I really want to be able to guide you guys on it. Cause like I'm saying, a lot of it's that mental area, the invisible space between having the money and then now spotting the opportunity and then jumping and then acting on it. That's the hard part. Cause like you don't see it yet. Right. But you got to move. And you got to just start getting the vision. And if you could say it, you'll see it. You see it, you'll say it. And then boom. Oh, yeah. Don't let me get too hyped. That's it, man. Yeah, Grandpa at 40? Damn, son. Yeah. Hey, man, get the little grandson. Get him a long-term too. That's what I'm saying. You could put $50, $100 a month. Do exactly what I'm telling you here. That's what again, I've done this for everybody in my family and it's beautiful. They all love it. So all you got to do, little by little, let it grow and whoop. Apple hasn't done much like in the last couple months. It's been very odd. To June 30th. I can't believe it's July, you guys. That's crazy. You remember? It was just not too long ago. We were about to have Kamala Harris as our president. And then now it is July of Donald Trump. Look at that. You're not worried about the upkeep cost on the Colt compound? Oh, I am. It's going to be a lot of money. But, you know, I think that's where all the YouTube money is going to go now. Because I make a lot now. I never made this much. So I feel comfortable that you guys could pay for it now. And then I don't feel as bad making money on YouTube. So, yeah, but it's expensive as fuck. Like I said, it's going to cost similar to owning a Ferrari. But like a Ferrari cost way more because you can't get a 30-year loan on a Ferrari. But it is it's going to be a big monthly cost, not to mention everything. But here's the good part. I didn't plan for this, but I just learned it. It's going to be a full write-off. So that's going to be the only thing that's going to help me, is that although it will, so pretty much I'm going to get my write-off. All the money I spend on this, worst case, will be my tax write-off for the year. So or for the next couple years. So every dollar we spend is a tax write-off. So if I buy a F-350 for the farm, all the animals, everything else we do, all the utilities, the mortgage, all of it is a write-off. So that's the good part. I want animals. Yeah. If you have another, no worries, bro. Run it. It's good. It's good. Everything's a farm write-off. Yeah, that's why I want. Well, the guy I was talking to yesterday, he was telling me if I didn't want to have crazy animals, you take like 1 or 2 acres and then you turn it into like a certain bird sanctuary, and then that'll qualify you for all the tax write-offs. I didn't know that. There's a lot I don't know about this. What's the real reason behind the write-off? What do you mean? Like I said, I wanted this because it's a good deal. I wanted to buy a house with the long term. This had equity, everything worked, and then it's like a cool property. But I just found out, because it is zoned agriculture, if we put animals on it and other stuff, you get it's just a full farm write-off. And now that part of the bill, they're making that 100%. I love birds too, actually. Well, if we end up doing that, we'll see. We'll find out. God willing. I hope by the end of this week, but like a week or two, that's when we can't turn back. But everything's moving slow, like really slow. Essentially, we could have carrier pigeons. We might be able to do that, actually. Does anybody know how to do that? Because we should make a network of carrier pigeons. That'd be so dope. Dude, imagine if I could like send a pigeon to LA and then you send the pigeon back. That'd be nuts. We should look into that. If any of you know how to train pigeons, I would love to do that. You have to hire employees. Do you? I thought as long as I think you could work it yourself. But I'm going to have one person on the property. I'm either going to hire somebody outside or a Chad could do it. But we are going to need one person to live there and then just take care of it all. Just a grounds manager with experience. So there's somebody there already, but I don't know if I'm going to keep them. Well, yeah, and like I said, in the beginning, I'm going to be there for a couple of things, but I am planning on doing this all hands off. So I don't plan on being there a lot. But I'm going to play around for a little bit. I want to plant a couple of trees, do a couple of donuts. It has a very good view. I'm definitely going to go there and pray a couple of times. Because I'm telling you, like the feeling when you stand on this land, it's massive. You feel God, and then you go to the fucking mountain. It has a mountain on the mountain, and then there's like a mountain on your property, and you have to go up your own little mountain, and then there's a view, and the view, bro, is insane. And there's water. You could see the water. You could see everything. It's beautiful, bro. It's beautiful. I'm telling you. It's a very like, you'll like, bro. It's hard not to get spiritual. That's at least for me, because I'm like, man, finger to the sky it's a wonder. Look at that marvel, bro. She's seen it, but she hasn't been there. I showed her. Even my mom was shocked. My mom says it's too good to be true. That's what my mom is telling me. So my mom says it's too good to be true. She said, no way. And I told her the price. And my mom's cheap as hell. Like I'm saying, my mom, I bought her a Benz and she returned it and bought a Honda. That's my mom. Literally, I bought her a brand new GLE, bro. A decked out one. She returned it and bought a Honda. And even this property, I told her the price. And she said that's too cheap, which was weird. Because even my mom was like, it's too good to be true. So that's it. It must be crazy to stand on an accomplishment like that. Is it the biggest achievement? No, man. The biggest achievement is that I have made it this far in my life, and I know who my Father is. That is my greatest achievement, is God. And having a relationship with Jesus Christ is the only thing that is worth anything. All of this other shit is just, we're biding the time while we're here, brother. But yeah, Jesus is the one. That's the greatest accomplishment. For real. I've said it. I'm even glad I haven't gone like too cuckoo in other ways, but no, that really is like to live in this world, because I'd be so depressed. Are you kidding me? You see me waking up early, all happy and shit, bro. Without my God, bro, living in this dark ass world, I don't even think I'd be waking up how I would. I don't think I would be as, excited to work and do all of this other stuff, because it's just God, bro. God is it, and that is I think it's a major thing. And again, what good is the whole world if you lose your soul? But you gain God, you gain everything. So I don't know how to describe it. I know it sounds weird, because I get it. I remember I'd hear people say this at times when I wanted a Ferrari, and they would say some shit like this, and then you'd be like, what? Just give me the Ferrari, bro, and then we'll talk about God. But it's true though. You got to get to a level in life where you understand this, and you will one day. And when you really understand it, bro, it will give you all of everything you think you want. You'll see it eventually. So, amen. And let his will be done. Some Israel headlines. People really want Lambos, or do they want respect? Damn, that's a good one. That's where I got fucked up, because I just wanted the car. I didn't give a fuck about the respect. But then, yeah, there is some people do just want the respect. So yeah, that's why I figure out what you want in life. Get what you want, but you got to figure out what it is, and don't lie to yourself. UFO activity on the compound? No, bro, it's a holy place. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I told this to my girlfriend, and then she started looking at me crazy, because I was like, bro, I could make like real sacrifices to the Lord, like a burnt offering with like a lamb. But then everybody in my family just looked at me like I'm insane. I've been reading way too much of them Proverbs and shit, dog. I said, amen. Praise the Lord. I say I'll make an altar for the Lord. He'll give him a burnt offering, but that's hella Old Testament. I live in the spirit, but I was just throwing that out there, and they all looked at me like I was cuckoo. I said, okay, that's where y'all gonna draw the line? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. H1 Hummer, now we're talking. Amen. We can't. Well, we'll see, bro. We have to, that's it, man. That's how you know I had a conversation this weekend. Because last week, I would have been agreeing with all of you. After I talked to a homie this weekend, he's just like, bro, you could only do like 3 or 4 things. So the first, LT was telling me everything's going to cost money. We got it. We'll figure that shit out. But now, like, we are going to use all of the space, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are going, there's only so much we could do. We have to, like, really plan and organize what we want for every, like, acre. Because if we do it randomly, we're just going to run out of space. And, like, you can't do everything. So that's what we are. We are going to have to figure it out. And then Spine just chilling. 12:30. I like the beef. I like the Wagyu, though. I think we should get one Wagyu cow. Or we raise a cow Wagyu standards. That's what the guy told me. And then we have one cow, and then every holiday we'll have a special colt cut. I don't know, bro. I'm down. He was explaining it to me. He said we raise the cow. We have to cook. We feed it how we want. No, we'll make our own like Wagyu cow on our land. And then we will go and then we'll feed it. We'll all organic. We'll put some good shit into it. You know what I'm saying? And then once a year or once every 2 years, we'll for the Burlington, B-U-R. That could be a buyout. Burlington, B-U-R. Look at that. How you gonna let me tell you a story? Stop it. Oh no, I fucked up. I can't get it yet. Okay, I got one. I kept it cheap. Huh? Yeah, what? It says it filled me at double, but it filled me at half of that. That was 3%. Oh, wait, damn it. No, it's the wrong one. That's a dud. Sell it. Don't buy that one. I thought it was Burlington. I did this. I've done this twice before. I've done this. It's every time. Because Burlington's going to get bought out one day. That's why I keep. It's not fucking Burlington, dude. Damn it. Yeah. Well, again, I only spent $40. That was going to be a loss. That was my only play I did today. Burford. I know, you forgot the L. But yeah, like I was saying, he says we could raise the cow. Yeah, it's a lot of work. You have to. We can massage it, but that'll be a Chad if you want to be the Wagyu cow massager. But you just have to feed it a certain way. And it costs a lot of money, but you feed it a certain type of food, and then you grow it a certain way. But then they were telling me it'll be dope, because they were like, if you have this big-ass land, and you've raised just like one cow on it, dude, this will be the happiest cow ever. But then, yeah, then he said we take it to a butcher, and then they'll make our cuts. So then literally every holiday for the special Chads, you will have access to a colt cut. I love this idea. I love this idea, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? You have no idea. I'm a big fan of this, of having my own Wagyu, and then that's it. It's amazing on paper. Everything about this whole idea is amazing on paper. That's why when I say it out loud, everybody is just like, yeah, but what about it? Then I'm like, okay, but hey, this is good. This is why I talk a lot, because then we get ideas back, and then boom, and then we find out what's gonna work, and then we'll be realistic about it. See, that's why I thought I was gonna have 1,000 cows. Now I'm down to one Wagyu, but that's fine. So we gotta just see. I don't know how much it costs to feed it. I don't know if we need to buy a masseuse, but yeah, we'll see. Josh gonna be selling subscription butcher boxes? No, everything is in reverse. You guys aren't going to have to buy anything. I mean, on some, if we have like events, we're going to do certain things, but the idea is that this compound and everything that comes from it, it should be like a cult dividend, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it. I don't want to like sell things as much as it's like, if you are part of the community, like real, and you've been here for a couple of years at a good level, you should get access to some cool things. Does that make sense? Like, I think a couple hundred of you will have a place in California if you need it. You see what I'm saying? I think a couple hundred of you, maybe you'll get special cult cuts and whatever else that we could offer. Or maybe then, if some of you want to pursue some land farming opportunities, that's what I really want. I want somebody to make money off of this land, you know, because I think we can make a lot of money off of it if we do like coordinated like cult efforts and we get the right people, because it's a lot of land, dude. It's a lot of land. So yeah, that'll be the idea. But then again too, though, we gotta figure out all the rules and shit. Just 2 more weeks. It'll be here before you know it. Josh about to tokenize the cow. Your dad's a vet. He'd love to meet you and your animals. Well, you guys are welcome. Once we get some animals, you guys might need to come out, bro. And then Boeing, Flushing, Burlington. No, it wasn't even Burlington. Can we grow truffles? Whoa, yo, bonds, pop, everything. Hold on, something just woke. That's a big bond pop. That is not small. There's no bond auction either. This is weird. Random ass time, bro. We could do that. I was thinking of that, but I just don't like alcohol. But we could make a vineyard and then sell our own wine. That people do. They're allowed to. So that's in the HOA. You could do it, but it has to be for personal use. So you can't invite people over to drink, but you can do we could do a personal vineyard and then sell the wine. But I don't want to sell alcohol. I don't want any alcohol on there. So that's the thing. If you guys like drink, smoke, or do anything, you're going to have to leave that at home. So I hope there's no issues with that. These are holy grounds. Dude, I've heard a lot of people doing olive trees make a shit ton, dude. Like where you get olive oil and little olives, bro. Yeah. You could paint. Hey man, if you're willing to paint, I would love to have you. I would love to. MDB on the low. Oh, it looked bigger on the low, but yeah. Olive trees take 100 years to mature? No way. I didn't know that. What was that, you guys? The bonds. I don't have a headline yet, but that was big. Kind of random. Not to make oil. That's great. There's so many things. There's so many things I've learned about recently. It's cool, bro. It's cool. It really is. That's the only, I don't know, man. This is the air. I always told y'all I wanted to live in the mountains, but, you know, I'm going to get like a week or two where I will at least I'm going to learn some things, bro. We'll be one with nature. Woo-saw. I know, dude. I wish we could do auto stuff, but it's loud. how are the cult invitations going to happen? One at a time. So yeah, like I said, I could still back out of this deal. So like I said, if this inspection in the next couple of days comes out and it needs a lot of work, I'm backing out. Sorry guys. So this was fun while it lasted, and then if not, I'll buy it. Treasury Besant says he's willing to replace Powell. Yeah. Didn't I tell you guys that this morning? So he would be the one. He's a good, I love him there. But the whole idea would be, if it does go through, I'm going to make a video where I'll show you the land. And then all of you can come with your ideas. And then we're going to, I think within a month or two, we'll have the first meetup with like the OG Chads. Like, you know, like I think we could probably do like 20 to 50 people to start. And then we'll see who's legit out of those. And then we'll go in groups of like 20 or 50. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. One at a time, groups of 20. MSTR has been going all day. Yeah, well, I'll let you guys know. You'll see. You'll see. Give me a week or two. Dude, what was it that happened this weekend? I remember you asked me that. I still haven't thought of it. There was something, I remember. That question stumped me. I think I have it videoed. No, just it's like a normal inspection, but we do got to inspect the well and a couple of other things, and then it's just massive, so it's a little bit more expensive, and we have to get like a specialist guy. CRNC, another pop. Which one was that little? Was that the Tom Lee one? Which one was the Tom Lee one again? The pollutants? No. So that's the thing. It's not like, it's like dirt. So when I showed it, yeah, BMNR, that's the one. Like when I showed it to the other guy that told me about the Wagyu, he was kind of surprised because like it's dirt. It's not like grass. You guys know that, right? It's like dirt. So most of the land is like dirt. So it's pretty shitty soil. That's the problem. Like if we wanted to plant anything, we would have to bring like soil and create like a different planting place. Or if we wanted, like it would need a lot of grass. So there's no like grazing and shit. That's the downside. Had to be bad. Well, hopefully you got the long term, baby. Let the long term guide you. That's disappointing, yeah. But it's California, so I don't know. That's why I think it's kind of normal for what I've seen. Most of the ones I've seen have been like that. Bank's still up or no? Some of them. Bank's actually calmed down. It's the highest you've been in a couple of hours. 10 more minutes. 10. I don't know. That TLT move was weird. But the bill would make TLT go up, not down. It could be the Besant. I think it's the Besant headline. That Besant could be Fed chair and that he's willing to. Remember, I was just saying earlier, I was like, bro, that Lael Brainerd, that's what they did. They put Lael in the Fed and then moved her to the government. I said I could see that with Besant, and Besant's a good guy. So I think that's what caught Burford. I don't know. I thought it was Burlington. I made a mistake. There is a pond, but it's empty. Well, yeah, I was just spitballing on the idea of Besant, but now him saying it or them putting it out there. Well, I think the headline is his quote saying he's down. But it makes a lot of sense. Besant would be a great Fed chair. And he would be the first ever gay Fed chair. Alongside, you get to check a DEI box if you really cared about it. But Besant would be perfect. Because I don't know if I'd want Waller or anybody else, to be honest. But that's the thing, though. Treasurer is a very important role. So, like, in a weird way, like, you kind of need Besant at treasurer, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the treasurer is really, really important. Yeah, you guys do this every time. Besant is an openly gay man. He is a homosexual. I don't know if that's offensive or not, but I'm just trying to make you guys understand this, because everyone gets shocked. I think it's cool, because no one judges him off of that shit. He's just a smart guy, and he gets the job done. It's like that's all that matters. But yeah, he is. He is a very qualified man, and that's it. But yeah, he is the first openly gay treasurer. He has a husband. He is married to a man. And yeah, if he gets nominated as Fed chair, he would be the first gay Fed chair. Raphael Bostic is gay, but he's not a Fed chair. He's like a regional board guy. Besant got rich hedge fund. He worked with George Soros. So that's the sketchy link with Besant. Everybody likes Besant. Doesn't matter who you ask. You guys saw it from day one. I told you this in the beginning too. Wall Street everybody respects Besant, even if you don't like Trump. Hard not to like Besant. So he's been good so far. He's done a good job, kept a level head, a cool head. He's done a lot of good stuff so far, and he hasn't given you a bad vibe. But then again, that's how Powell was in the beginning too. So I'm just saying, I've had a lot of ex-girlfriends in my life too. They always come off cool, but in the end they always whack. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But for now, Besant, he's coming off cool, bro. He's coming off pretty cool for everybody. It's rumored that he tussled with Elon. I can see it though. It's a grunge. It sounds like a grunge. You wanna squabble, Elon? Let's do it. I bet you we could fight. I can see it. Basant. A Basant. A Basant and croissant. Alrighty. Well, Chad, it's time, my brethren. It's time to move on over. So, 5 minutes will begin Philo. I think we should just move over now. I'll post the link. So, you could join for free. You could listen. It doesn't cost you anything except for your commitment. So, I will be talking about God and Jesus and life, and whether the market moves up or down, I will not care because I got a long term. And I have very, very good news and information that I worked really hard for. So that's why I could do this. So if you would like to join Philo, I'd love to see you there. But if you don't like that stuff and are going to get in the way, you might as well have a good rest of your day and save any of the animosity. So that's the link. We're going to move on over there now, and then we will begin. Amen, amen, amen. Do I really believe, or am I saying it to save face? What do you think? So I mean, you have watched me do everything for 5 years. You know, do you see people keep stuff up this long that they don't believe in? You know what I'm saying? Just, you've seen a lot, man, and you've seen the good of me, you've seen the bad in me, you've seen me freak out, you've seen me be normal, you've seen a lot of things, but just imagine, from day that has always remained. It's funny you said that today, actually. I love that you just said that. So I'll see you on Philo if you really care, because I actually wrote down something before you even said that. That's amazing. Wow. I didn't realize it till I started saying it out loud. But Chad, I love you. God bless you. And I will see you on Philo. Amen. Amen. No, Powell shifted at transitory. That was like 2 years in. Stop playing with me.